All right, guys, so I got a story to share. So have you guys seen all the stuff like on the internet where like all the sneaker drops? You can like it's like usually the sneakers app and stuff. So it's always limited drop sneakers that people will always try and get a bid in, and the random person gets them for like a random amount of people get free of them, like free sneakers, and they're really expensive. So there was this guy who had his own sneaker company, essentially, is what it was. He had his own warehouse full of like sneakers he would just resell. He's a reseller, and he made like a little monopoly on it and made a bunch of money off of it, right? So the whole story with his backstory was basically he was like kind of self-made. He was just buying and reselling sneakers. He was buying sneakers and holding on to them and waiting until like Nike and Adidas and all these companies discontinued it and then would sell it when there was no more in the market. You couldn't physically buy it, so the price would go up and made a bunch of money. This dude had a full-on warehouse of sneakers. Well, so he tried to get Bloomberg to do an interview him and do a story on him, and so he did it. And a bunch of shit dropped about it because they did some investigating because the email he used wasn't his email, it was his mom's email. Well, then they found out who his mom was. His mom works for Nike, like a VP up in the company. Yeah. Like real high up in the company. And everything about him being self-made, basically he grew up like super rich and he got everything paid for. All the sneakers that he was reselling, his mom was just buying for him or giving to him, like random sneakers, and he was reselling them. Also was found out that he had a bunch of bot accounts. So people have bots on the internet, and they'll basically like immediately put all these tickets in to try and get the sneakers for free, and they have a better chance of getting it because they have like an unlimited amount of like entries, right? Yeah. So he had a bunch of free sneakers that way, which is kind of illegal too. And then the cherry on top was that he was getting insight from his mom, right? Saying like, oh, we're about to discontinue this line of sneakers. So he would buy a bunch of those sneakers. When they got discontinued, wait a couple months, everyone wanted them, there's no more for sale, and he just resell his at like 5 times the price. And that's how he made all this money. And this dude had a ton of money. And the whole reason that he got caught was because he literally was bragging about being self-made and stuff, but it was his mom that was using his email, and his mom showed up on the caller ID when he called because his mom was paying his phone bill. Damn. So that's the whole reason he got caught. And backflash of it, obviously this guy's getting roasted. He's losing a bunch of business, no one's buying from him, but also his mom had to step down from her VP role.
Of like 25 years or something like that.
Of 25 years with Nike.
So what was he doing that's technical? It's like, I understand that it's similar to insider trading, but I'm sure the law for insider trading doesn't clarify shoe sales.
So with her real quick, I think it's something with her. She's not allowed to let people know that stuff, even if it's your family. Not allowed because they can make money off that, right? So it's essentially the same as insider trading. You're right, but she's not allowed to let people know when they're discontinuing shoes because the prices skyrocket afterwards because you physically can't buy it like a Foot Locker or anything.
I'm sure that you could also get with like a non-compete clause to where technically he was a business operating making money and also she was competing. Yeah, she was competing with Nike in that way. I feel like that's how she could get tagged for that too.
Yeah. And so the whole everyone's talking about also the bot thing about having all the bot accounts. I guess that's some kind of illegal too. It's like data mining. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know all the details on that. I could be wrong. But then also, so he was like, I guess, trying to do damage control and all this stuff and like try to say, oh, no, we're not related and stuff like that. It's pretty obvious they were related and they got debunked real quick. And then also,
I don't know her. I don't
know her. So
that's your
not my mom. What I gotta think about this is like, she had to be in on it, right? If he made that much money off of it.
She knew exactly what he was. Your mom doesn't like. If she was that big, I don't know.
That smart, yeah.
If she's telling him that stuff, she is close enough for him to know what's going on.
And then, because the other thing I want to point out is like, because if she didn't know, say she was just completely oblivious, like, oh, my son's making all this money reselling our Nike sneakers. It's so weird that he gets so lucky and gets the ones that are like discontinued. You know what I mean? But she obviously knew. Because she had that, but was she getting a cut in it, right?
That's the question.
Because if she wasn't getting a cut in it and she like kind of knew, but was like not really doing much, he just fucked his mom over big time. You know what I mean?
Didn't he have like a whole like warehouse full of these shoes?
Yeah, he like had to buy a warehouse because he had a bunch. He made a ton of money. He made enough money to buy a warehouse to store all these shoes and then ship them out to people who he was reselling them to. Like that's how many shoes he had, and he had ones he was just storing until they went out of discontinued.
That's crazy.
I mean, some people were saying respect the grind. Other people were saying that it's mainly the bot account thing people got really mad about. And then also the fact that he said he faked being like self-made. Apparently he's never paid for anything in his life. That was another thing as well. But I feel bad because there's actually people that like will get on the sneakers app and they can never win anything. And those bot guys have like thousands and tons and tons and tons of entries. Get all the quick ones in. They can literally just snag them up right away.
Yeah, I'll say that about bots. Like I know a few guys who bought sneakers with bots, and that's the only way that they can get. Like when the Yeezys were real popular a few years ago, that's the only way that they could get them was by building these bots.
Yeah, because you literally click a button and it just puts all those tickets in to try and get it. Because it's the same thing with the Xbox and the PlayStation drop, the new ones. they were sold out with minutes because people had like 7 or 8 PlayStations they bought or Xboxes they bought, and then we just resell them on eBay for like $1,200 when it sells for like $600. So
crazy.
it's kind of shitty. Kind of shitty.
Oh, I'ma light the shit up. Yeah, I'ma make the shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up.
I hit my face on my mic.
That's embarrassing. Hey, boys,
Put it on the YouTube.
I want to ask you guys a question. Did you guys know that we had a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, I'm subscribed, Zach.
Yeah. We have two videos up on YouTube now. So if you guys would like to, listen to our YouTube or watch them, not listen, watch them, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. It's a work in progress. It's not the best, but hey, if you support Gridiron Garage and the boys, subscribe to the YouTube page.
We're learning. We'll learn. Well, I mean, we're college educated, which
We are.
means that we're super smart.
We are.
Smarter than the rest of everyone.
So I will say this about podcasting. Jake made a comment saying that he missed the first 3 lectures of Podcasting 101. I never knew what I was getting into, man, when I wanted to start this podcast.
So basically, I just show up and do what I do here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I put in like prep work for us discussing things, but basically, like he started it, and then Griffin is now taking over to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I have not done anything. And when they start talking about it, I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's like when you're in college and you miss the first 3 or 4 lectures. And you're just way behind, and you can never catch back up from there. Like, you're just done.
But I feel like that's the cool thing about like what we're doing is like Griff, you like the video stuff, so like you want to take that over. Jake, you just like to show up and bullshit. I mean, you do put in like the back end work, which obviously I appreciate it. But man, like trying to get all this technology to sync into one thing. Like I see guys like Rogan. I mean, obviously they've been doing it for years, but it's just like holy shit, like the amount of time. I know.
We just need the right chords.
Right.
We're still figuring out the chord situation. I want to point something out too. So we currently have a grand total of 7 or 6 subscribers. No,
Yeah.
7 subscribers and 6 views on our other video. That's how it goes. And I just want to point out that right there, we have about roughly 15% of our subscribers that aren't watching our YouTube videos. Only 6 views, 7 subscribers. It really doesn't make sense. So whoever you are, watch the video.
Watch it. Boys, why don't we do a contest? I don't know what it would be, but you think we can pump our YouTube channel to 100 subscribers in the next month?
How are we going to do that?
I don't know. What do you think? Like, if we can get to 100 subscribers, we will randomly pick one subscriber and give them $20.
Gridiron Garage t-shirt. No, Gridiron Garage t-shirt.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, a Gridiron Garage t-shirt. I select Jonathan Thornton to pick out one subscriber once we get to 100,000. Or not 100. 100. That's the next step. Baby
To the
steps.
moon.
To the moon.
All we give out is a t-shirt.
A t-shirt.
100,000.
If we get to 100 subscribers, a random subscriber gets a free Gridiron Garage t-shirt.
I want to point out, too, I was kind of making a joke with the percent thing, so I don't know how often you guys watch YouTubers, but they'll always put a little disclaimer at the start, and they'll be like, currently it says that I have 400,000 subscribers, but I'm only averaging about 200,000 views, so if you look at my things, 50% of my subscribers aren't watching my videos, so I'd really appreciate it. So I was trying to do the same thing, saying, like, well, you have 7 subscribers, but only 6 viewers, guys. 15% of our subscribers are not watching our videos. 15%.
Anyways, ring the bell. The link is in the Gridiron Garage Instagram page. It will take you to all of our pages, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're all over the place. You know who else is all over the place? My boy fucking JJ Watt.
JJ Watt. So why would he go to Arizona? Why?
Money.
Chasing money.
He went
We
chasing money.
literally had like
Okay.
10 minutes on the podcast.
Here we go.
Last week talking about how we don't think JJ Watt's going to chase money.
And he chases money.
He
Yeah, he took the biggest deal.
chases money and goes to Arizona?
Okay, him signing with Arizona makes that one of the most competitive defenses in the league.
So
no.
I have seen
what do you
stats
define
and-
competitive, though?
I'm saying,
They're
I'm blanking-
definitely top half of the league. They're probably top 10.
Who's the
I don't
other?
think they're like a top 3 defense.
Who's the other
I don't know
defense
this
that he signed with?
for a fact, but
Or
I'm
player.
pretty sure Arizona was around 10th last year.
I don't think JJ Watt's going to make him like the best defense in the league.
I don't think he's going to be
he's still
make them
gonna be
the
good.
best defense. Who's the other guy that I'm thinking of? Other defensive guy on the Cardinals.
Chandler Jones.
Was it him and JJ Watt who's been leading like 1 and 2 in sacks in the league? since like 2010.
Chandler Jones had an insane year, not this past year, but the year before. He led the league in sacks. This past year, I didn't hear much about him. I'm not sure what exactly. I think he didn't have that great of a year, but he didn't have a bad year. Mm-hmm. He's also I think he's older than JJ. I think he's a year older. So that's the one thing is like 32, 33-ish in that range.
I mean, they're old, but I mean, they have the guys that have put up numbers other than being hurt, like consistently. Plus, I think with having Kyler Murray, Hopkins, and who's the running back now? Is it still Johnson? Or
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake. They traded for Kenyon Drake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it puts him in the top 10 team in the league.
I don't even think he went there. He's not chasing rings. He's chasing dollar bills.
So the one thing I want to say,
dollar bills,
Arizona didn't even make the playoffs last year when they added 2 extra playoff teams. They still couldn't make the playoffs. I just don't think J.J. Watt puts them in like a top 10 team in the league yet. I mean, though I think the reason they make the playoffs next year is if Kyler Murray balls out. Like if Kyler Murray actually plays like however I think Kyler Murray will be, I think that's the reason to make the playoffs. I don't think J.J. Watt's putting them over like, oh, we're a championship contender now because we have J.J. Watt. And it's nothing against J.J. Watt. I mean, 6 years ago I would have said, hell yeah, this is like one of the best signings they could have made. $16 million for that good of a player. But I don't blame him either because, I mean, if you think about it, right, he's getting towards the end of his career. This is probably the biggest contract he's going to sign for the rest of his career that's football related, right? Mm-hmm. And like people always say, like, oh, he's made so much money before, right? And he can make a bunch of money afterwards doing TV, right? If he wants to do TV. Look at all the TV contracts people have gotten, right? There's only been like one guy recently that's gotten a huge one. That was Romo, and it was $10 million. It wasn't $16 million like he signed for 2 years.
Drew Brees got like a $100 million contract.
Yeah, but it's not $16 million a year. Like he's getting $16 million per season that he's doing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You know what I mean? So what I'm pointing is like why would you not, if someone offers you $16 million, why would you say, no, I really kind of want to go to that team and make $8 million? You know what I mean?
You think the local philanthropies hit up the Cardinals and was like, dude, gotta get JJ Watt here.
We need some money.
Our orphanages, they're running down. We need to get JJ Watt in town.
That's such a terrible reason to want a player.
Well, I mean, if you want your orphanage to look better, you hit up JJ Watt.
So I'll put you on the spot, Griffin. Now that I know you just kind of knocked on the Cardinals, and you're a big JJ Watt hater. I mean,
no, I don't hate
plain and simple. I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pure slander, honestly.
I was literally copying what Zach says about Russell Wilson, just saying about JJ Watt, and he caught on eventually that I was trolling. But I do not hate JJ Watt. I actually really like JJ Watt. I do think he was corny on the internet. I think he's better now. And I think Russell Wilson has usurped him as the corniest guy on the internet, which I will agree to that. He's got some corny Instagram and corny Twitter posts.
So now you got 2 of the quote-unquote corniest social media guys in the same division.
Oh, that's going to be a hell of a matchup when they first meet each other.
In the NFC
the Instagram
West.
posts.
So, yeah, you're going to have the Instagram. But what if it's like a who raises the most money for charity kind of thing? And we put them up against each other. Who comes out on top?
I could definitely see them getting into a like donation war between the two of them on the internet and having corny ass posts at each other on Twitter, back at each other, and like goading the other one to donate more money. And then they'd say, "Oh, it's all for charity, guys." But then the one who loses would definitely be pissed about it. And
just a big Walter Payton man war.
Oh no, I'm better. I can see it now, and obviously, you can not like a guy for whatever reasons, but I don't want any player to be hurt. If J.J. Watt comes around the corner, blindsides Russell Wilson because they play 2 times a year, that's double the chances to get blindsided. And Russell Wilson's out for the whole year. I can just hear it now from all the.
Kind of fucked up.
I just said that's why. That's
I don't know why you'd even say that.
That's why I started.
Pretty fucked up if he turned that corner and blew his knee.
I don't root for injuries, but if Russell Wilson got injured, that'd be awesome.
It'd be really fucked up. No, it'd be really fucked up if JJ Watt turns that corner and fucks his knee up. Zach, I hope that doesn't. I really hope that doesn't happen. But you think about it. He's getting old.
You didn't even let me finish my sentence. You didn't even let me finish my sentence.
You're going down the wrong jackhole.
So, side note, apparently Jake thinks that audio jacks are called jackholes.
I couldn't think of the word off the top of my head, and I was like, just put it in the jackhole.
In the jackhole.
I don't know. He was in the bathroom for 20 minutes and came out and started talking about jackholes.
But anyways, I can see it now is if J.J. Watt takes out Russell Wilson in an unfortunate event, the amount of slander that I'm going to get because I'm such a J.J. Watt lover, and the guys in the group me are going to be like, oh, fuck that guy, he's just out there, trying to become the best philanthropist.
I'm a big advocator that you shouldn't blame the guy who makes a tackle unless it's obviously dirty.
Unless it's a Steelers player.
Unless you're in Dominican.
It's a Steelers
unless
player.
It's like obviously dirty. a player goes to tackle, he's not, most of the time I should say, he's not intentionally trying to hurt the guy, right? It's just a freak accident usually. It's the same thing with when Alex Smith broke his leg and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
That's why you got Michael Orr.
That's what I'm saying. You got situations like the Dominican Sue where you very obviously stomped on like that O lineman's ankle. That one, he's done it multiple times, but like stuff like that is when you're like, I don't like the guy. J.J. Watt, if he injured someone, I don't think it would be fuck J.J. Watt. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless J.J. Watt like twisted the dude's ankle or stomped on it or something like that. Right. But I want to say, Zach, you got twice as much of a chance for that to happen in your scenario. I mean, you got 17 times the chance that J.J. Watt just hurts himself running around a corner. He plays in 17 weeks, got 17 practices, 16 games.
And you know what that tells me about a player? That he is strong, fast, and leaves it all on the field.
Then why does he miss so many games in his career?
Anyways, Jake, hold on. No, I want to touch on something you said. You brought up the Steelers. I want to talk about that Juju Smith-Schuster video.
I was about to bring that up. That cracked me up, dude. So Ryan Garcia.
Love my guy.
Ryan Garcia has a YouTube video, and all the guests that he brings on, he does, I can't remember what he calls it, but he calls it a challenge, and they put the stomach plate on, and he just rips, like, hooks into their stomach over and over and over again. How fast is Ryan Garcia?
I was watching those.
You can't even see his hand move. Like, it's like back, and then in one frame of the camera, it's hitting him.
And they weren't like jabs too. They were like follow through punches. Yeah. Like if you weren't there, I'm going through this wall.
Yeah.
So this is kind of irrelevant, but actually I think Jake Paul went to his house and they ended up pranking him because they did that challenge, and then Jake Paul acted hurt, and then they had like the actual ambulance people like on their side.
Yeah.
So the ambulance came. They put him in the ambulance. Like Ryan Garcia was sitting there like, oh shit, dude,
like
I heard
CPR
Jake
and
Paul.
stuff.
And that was like before his last fight against Nate Robinson. And then they were just like, we're pranking you. I was like, it was actually pretty good.
Jake Paul the one trying to fight Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah.
Or is that
Logan Paul?
Logan
Paul and Floyd Mayweather.
So I heard a rumor.
Jake Paul's trying to fight Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Whoever's trying to fight Mayweather, I heard a rumor that the reason that they pulled the first fight is because there wasn't enough pay-per-view hype around it. And so, but they like said whatever, COVID or whatever.
The matchup on that blows my mind. It's like Jake Paul, 199 pounds. Floyd Mayweather's at like 145.
But I wanted to, you probably heard it on Rogan's podcast too. So obviously Floyd Mayweather is, world-class fighter, so he takes care of himself. But he would still go out to the clubs and stuff and have a good time, but he'd be drinking water. And so he would tell people like, all right, I'm leaving. And so he would tell his driver, follow me. And he would run home from the club in his jeans just to prove that, like, he was still world class. Did you hear that on Rogan?
I did hear that. Yeah. Like, he'd go out with his buddies, drink water all night with his friends, and then jog home.
Yeah. Like, what kind of baller move is that? Like, it's still gonna get...
It's a weird guy move.
It is
weird. It's a total weird guy. We had a friend that used to, like, jog around like that. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. Dude, I will say, so side note, like, I have this big dream of wanting to do an Ironman next fall. I've kind of found a love of running. Like, once you get past, like, that 10, 15 minutes, like, where your shins hurt, it's just, like...
It's called a runner's high.
I see what people mean by, like, it just takes you to a different headspace. I'm for it.
It's a runner's high. It's basically whenever you run and your heart falls to, like, a resting rate when you're running. Like, it stops climbing and it starts to fall back down. It's called runner's high. And to get there, you have to not be fat like me. But, no, it's not fun.
I mean, I'm still a little fat, but I'm getting there. It's fun. You guys should try it.
I got the heebies. That's gross.
Running
for more than 10. I want to say something about Juju real quick.
Go ahead.
I saw a Ravens fan who bought a customized Steelers jersey, and it said Poo-Poo Smith Poopster. I thought it was kind of funny.
Anyways, speaking of
joke flop,
do you think that Juju's coach is mad that he's getting punched in the gut?
Yes.
Do you think that Alvin Kamara's coach is mad that he is literally snowboarding in Montana?
Yes. And you brought that up, and I think it's a good argument. So do you want to explain the argument?
Okay, so what I put on here is, should a company, corporation, team, or contract, or etc. be able to tell someone how they can spend their free time?
And I say yes. Because
so that would be like my work telling me when I clock out things that I can't do. And I guess there kind of is things that I could get fired for doing. But that would probably be illegal stuff.
Well, here's the thing. And so Andrew Luck got hurt, probably 3-4 years ago now. And he was snowboarding. And he didn't want to tell the Colts for the longest time because it was in his clause that he wasn't allowed to do these types of things that could potentially, put him in danger. I guess whatever wording is in the contract, like extreme sports. And so that's why it came out for it didn't come out for the longest times because he got hurt doing snowboarding or doing something like that. So I think that if you're a professional sports player and you sign a contract that has that in writing, yes, they should be able to limit you. But, I mean, that's kind of a gray area. Like, you still want to have fun. But also, if a corporation is paying you $40 million, you probably would sign a contract with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah,
in a way, like, they do limit what you can do. Like, even if you're a 9-to-5er, like, if you were, an accountant here, like, you couldn't take your accounting skills somewhere else for X amount of years, right?
True.
So,
yeah, I think I kind of agree with you, Zach. I think I pretty much totally agree with you. If you're signing a contract for that much money and they tell you and it's in writing saying, hey, here's what you can't do, right? Because if you get hurt doing this, right, we could possibly void your contract, or what's the point of paying you for $20 million a year if you can't even play? Because that was something you did that got you hurt to not let you be able to do your job, right?
And then they're out guaranteed money too.
What I equate, yeah, you're right. What I equate it to is you said, like, would my job be able to dictate what I do? I say yes, only if whatever you're doing is gonna, hinder your ability to do your job, like drugs, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like you can't do your job if you're high. They can fire you for that, right? I don't want to say drugs doing the same as snowboarding because obviously one's worse than the other. But what I'm getting at is, like, if it hinders the ability to do your job, like getting hurt snowboarding when they told you not to do it, that's a little bit different. So, and it's the same thing with Patrick Mahomes, right? There's a video of him like balling. He was on some indoor court in New York City once, and it was like, I think right after he signed his huge contract, and he was like playing basketball with some other football players and some other like athletes. And he was like playing really good, and then the Chiefs basically said, "Don't do that ever again."
So that's what I don't like. So when you sign the contract, I feel as if it should say, "Here's the activities that if you do get injured, we won't pay you, right?" But you shouldn't not be allowed to do those activities.
Yeah, and I see what you mean.
Like I should be able to go snowboarding, but in my contract it says if you get hurt snowboarding, you won't get paid X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
So then, as an employee, I would feel obligated to not go snowboarding because I know I won't get my payday if I go snowboarding. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know how the contracts are written out. They could be written out like that. Maybe they know if I go ride motorcycles and get in a motorcycle accident, that hinders my contract of getting paid. Mm-hmm. But if I ride motorcycles all year long and never get in a motorcycle accident, then I'm fine. I don't know.
I mean, maybe if Alvin Kamara was going down the hill and he looked athletic like he does when he's hitting the 2-hole.
He didn't look good.
He did not look good at all.
He did not look good.
Dude, that is one thing that amazes me about professional athletes. Like, you take a skilled guy like Kamara and you put him in some other sport, and it looks like he's never even done anything relevant to that type of skill.
Well, I feel like that's kind of an action sport's kind of like that though. I don't think you can take any athlete and put them into an action sport and they know what they're doing really.
I feel like that's opposite, because if you take me, I can snowboard and ski pretty well.
If I put you on a skateboard,
I feel like I would do pretty much the same. I couldn't do the tricks.
You could drop into a half pipe on a skateboard.
It depends. I mean, I used to be able to. Probably
10 foot.
No, probably not 10. I was going to say 6 maybe.
Gonna put $100 on it?
6 foot?
Yeah.
Let's go to the skate park.
I could do a 6 foot height.
Let's go to the skate park. I don't know if you could or not.
What I want to say, though, I think there's a certain degree of athleticism, that inherent athleticism that certain people have, and they can do certain parts of activities or sports or action sports even, that their athleticism was, once you basically tell them, here's how you do it, they can at least get the hang of it real quick, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's also some action sports like snowboarding and skiing where if you don't know the details of how to do it, you haven't physically done it before, right? If you don't know the skills that you need to do it, or how to turn, how to do all this stuff, you're not, just because you're athletic doesn't mean you're going to be a really good skier right away or a snowboarder, right? If he's never done that before, I can definitely see him his first or second time going being fuck, it's hard to turn. You know what I mean? Especially snowboarding, which is, I've been told, harder than skiing. So, I mean, it's not to say that he won't get it down if he goes a lot, right? He'll probably get better and better every time. But I feel like snowboarding is not the same as being able to just, jump into a sport like basketball and be able to be more athletic than the other guy, right? Because you put Alvin Kamara against all of us, right? In basketball, he could have the worst jump shot on the entire court, but I guarantee he's going to be the best player because he's faster, bigger, and stronger than us, right? But in snowboarding, he's got to have the actual skills to, how to turn, stop, slow down, and God forbid try any tricks or anything like that. You know what I mean?
He had to jump.
Yeah, he
Nice.
did. Yeah. But see, that's what I equated to is growing up, Jake and I, we would always try to be the most competitive between the two of us, and he would always beat me. But you put
Jake...
Jake...
Why you learn jiu-jitsu.
Exactly. But I'll use Jake as an example. You put him in any sport, and eventually he will excel in it. you put him on a basketball court, it looks like he's never played a sport in his life before.
Oh, he's got the wing shot.
And
the
like
wing shot is
like that's what I'm trying to compare it to. Is like you put a football in Alvin Kamara's hand, like he's the best running back in the league. You put him on a snowboard. I just don't get it. Like, how does like your mind not process that?
I would be curious to take. So what you're saying is maybe that was his first time on a snowboard.
Yeah.
What if you took an Alvin Kamara and you took average Joe Smo, who's also 28 years old? How old's Kamara? I don't know.
He's young.
probably 25.
Yeah, he's like our age.
So you take two 25-year-olds that have never snowboarded and you put them together. I'd be curious who would get better faster. Maybe Alvin Kamara would get better faster. Maybe he wouldn't.
I think it would be the competitive drive in Alvin Kamara as like a professional athlete, like wanting to be better.
That 25-year-old might be down in YouTube videos and learning real fast at night.
Look up
while Alvin Kamara's studying the defenses.
Look up Kevin Durant home run derby, and it'll just blow your idea out of the water that athletes can just jump into their
No,
sport,
dude,
right?
baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball's the biggest one of them all.
It takes big skill. I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
There's tons of athletes that
that's what I'm
cannot
saying.
play
Like,
baseball.
Like, there's no, like Kevin Durant's probably strong enough to be able. I mean, he's skinny, but he's probably strong to hit a baseball probably a lot farther than we can. Just the fact that he's so big and like, a lot more athletic than us. But you watch him swing, he doesn't have the technique, right? That's the word I'm looking for, not skills, but technique, right? There's certain technique that you learn by doing something for a while, whether it's a sport or whatever it may be. When I went skiing for the first time in 12 years, something like that, like a couple weeks ago, I had no technique whatsoever. I was terrible, right? And Alvin Kamara never snowboarded in his life. He's not going to know all the technique stuff. I'm not saying he's not athletic. He's probably able to actually land some jumps because he's used to having all that, pressure put on his knees and everything like that, right? But he's just not going to have the technique down until he doesn't more. And that's what I'm getting at. Same thing with the shot and swinging a baseball bat.
I'm not hating on the guy. Like, I'm sure that he could be very successful in it. It's just, I don't know, it just blows my mind when you think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really blow my mind. I kind of, I don't expect anyone to just jump on a sport like that or swing a baseball bat and not be able to do it.
Did you go to the, I know we went to the home run derby together, but did you go to the celebrity softball game? Or was that a different day?
I did not go.
So Andy Dalton, he was one of the celebrities. And you know how they move in the fences like super far for like the home run derby?
They move them closer, yeah.
Yeah, Andy Dalton hit a home run with a softball out of like the actual Great American Ballpark.
I've been in there where
That's
they
crazy.
brought in like the big dudes. That's what they do. They go travel around to different MLB stadiums and hit home run derbies at I don't know what it was. It was before the first inning. It was just they came out and we're like, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
They're hitting them out of the ballpark at Cincinnati with the softball. So, but I mean, that's their job. They could have juiced balls, I mean, I probably would.
That's another
If
debate.
that was your job to come up, you get some juiced balls.
Yeah.
Why would you not juice the balls?
Oh, for sure. I would 100%.
Your only job is to put on a show. You're just going to juice the balls.
Yeah.
If we could juice the audio and we'd get more listeners,
I'm down for that. I mean,
let's juice it.
more listeners means more ad revenue. Here we go. But we'll put a poll up on Instagram because I think that's a good question about should companies and corporations limit what you can do outside of your job, I guess.
And sports teams, too.
And sports teams, yeah.
Mostly sports teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Joe Blow at Joe Blow Company doesn't give a fuck.
Anyway, so I saw this out there trending kind of.
Yes.
And I don't think that this is a real thing that's going to happen. But I did see people talking, do you keep Russell Wilson or do you keep
I saw it, too.
Pete Carroll?
I saw it out there, too. I think
So-
it's
Saw it out there?
I think first
Hold on, I
of all,
wanna ask a question.
was gonna say, I
Hold on,
mainly
hold on.
think it's talking heads throwing stuff out there.
I don't think it's an actual thing.
I want to
But it's
know
fun to talk about.
where this whole notion came about. Was it literally what Russell Wilson said at the Super Bowl? Because it seems like from there
Is that, and he did
to now.
he did a GQ article after with Sierra, and they were talking about like their love and how much they loved each other and how like God was like made them together and they love each other and love God because I told you it's real corny. And but then he also talked about
nothing corny about that.
no, but he was like saying like how like the corniest shit like out of like the Notebook movie, right? Like how we were two soulmates searching through like star-crossed, couldn't find someone, and we happened upon each other one day, and at that moment we knew God came down and said like, it was like out of like a movie, like they're trying to make it like a movie, but he also said something in the article about like what his comments at the Super Bowl and all that stuff, and how he wanted to be part of the decision making process. And before I let you go, say the next part, I just want to say I think that's like he was still trying to get his point across originally, saying like I just want to have some input. I want them to like at least listen and hear out some of my advice how I think I make this team better. And I mean, I think other quarterbacks they've done that before, right? Something like Tom Brady, the really big ones, right? They've been like, okay, we'll take your advice. But I think there's a difference if the Seahawks tell them, okay, we'll listen to your advice and we'll consider it, versus saying, no, we don't want to take your advice, or versus saying, hey, we'll take your advice and consider it, and then they say he gives them advice and they just shut him out and don't even listen to it. You know what I mean? I think that's the issue with Deshaun Watson too. But
no, I was gonna say like it seems like from his comments at the Super Bowl to now, like this has been ramped up to where Russell Wilson wants to be traded. Like this is what the Seahawks want from him. Like Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson don't like each other, but you didn't hear any of this in season. So were they just really good of not having a rat in their organization and like leaking this stuff, or did something happen after those comments to where Pete Carroll was like, you know what, F you, Russell Wilson, like, we want you out? Russell
Wilson's a true professional. He probably didn't want to say anything to hurt the team while the team was playing. So,
here we go.
While the team was in season. I heard reportedly, right? It's always reported, but I heard reported there was like some film session they had, and he was like, he got an argument with Pete Carroll about the blocking schemes or something like that, and then he like supposedly stormed out of the meeting. And that was just a report. I don't know if that's true or not because people say anything on the internet. But I think if there was issues, they probably just did
like a good Russell Wilson's elite.
Did a good job like wrapping it up or something like that, and so no one would hear it. And then I also don't think he wants to leave Seattle. I think he wants to stay in Seattle and wants to make the team better. But I have been hearing who would you rather have, Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson? I'm curious what you think. I'm pretty sure you guys already know what I think, but I'll give you my reasoning. So
I don't really know. At what point do you think that a quarterback is actually more important than your head coach? Like, there's probably a point. Like, if this is the Chiefs, is the quarterback more important than your head coach? I don't know.
I think so.
I truly have no idea. I mean, you couldn't give up Patrick Mahomes. You'd be an idiot.
Right. The only reason I say that is because Andy Reid in Philadelphia had some good teams, and he was never able to get as far as he did when he had Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So then if you're looking at, Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, I don't know.
To answer that question, I think that it's opposite of what you just said. I think that Pete Carroll, you hold on to him, and Russell leaves. Not that Russell hasn't proven that he can be, a great player. I think it's that, how do I want to say it? Like, another quarterback will come along similar to Russell Wilson. Like, we've had this conversation, we put it in Drew Brees, whoever else you want to put in Russell Wilson's realm. Another quarterback will come along in those type of skill levels, but I feel like it's hard to come across good coaches in the NFL to coach as long as Pete Carroll has, to have the success that Pete Carroll has had.
What if they just totally screwed Russell and sent him off to Texans?
It'd be funny.
If you're gonna say you get Deshaun Watson and keep Pete Carroll, that's a fucking deal right there.
But hold on, answer the question, and then I want to ask Jacob.
So I just want I don't want to get in a debate, but I would say I 100% disagree with that. I think it's the complete opposite of what you said. Again, I'm not trying to get in a debate, but I think it's way easier to find a good head coach than it is to find a really good quarterback. Like, quarterbacks don't grow on trees. If it was that easy, then every team would have a really good quarterback. And Russell Wilson, I know you don't like to do the stats name and everything like that, but if you look at his stats and his numbers, and say a Super Bowl winning quarterback to that, right? He's had some insane numbers over the years, and I'm curious to think if maybe I don't want to throw this out there, but maybe the reason that they lost the second Super Bowl is because Pete Carroll was head coaching and he called that play. But I'll go back to what JT said, right? The reason they called that, they didn't check out of it, was because that look all season should have been money for the play, and the one dude made a really good crazy play. But I think it's harder to find a really, really good quarterback, find a franchise quarterback that you can rely on, right? Versus finding that head coach. I mean, you got to find them that mix together. And I would be hard-pressed to think that if a really good quarterback and a really good coach, I should say, don't get along as well, I think most teams would actually be inclined to keep the quarterback because they have more money tied into him. And at the end of the day, he's the one that's going to win you more games, I think, than the head coach will, like actually throwing the ball. To an extent, right? To an extent. We all had the Brady Belichick.
I think we all agree at some point quarterback could be more valuable than a head coach.
Yeah,
at some point.
What I want to say, I think Russell Wilson's more valuable.
Well, Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll have been there, and they've both had success, right? They've had two Super Bowl appearances. So, but they were both there, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't pinpoint the success for one guy to the other.
I agree with that.
But
so
going
we can't really see like what their organization looks like and how these teams are developing. And is it Russell Wilson developing the players? Is it Pete Carroll developing players? I don't know how it works.
But
so it's hard to make this decision from the outside.
Like, Jake's question was, if Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes, which one are you going to keep?
Patrick.
Yeah, keep Patrick for sure.
So the question is, Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson? You're going to let Pete Carroll go?
Yeah, I would.
I don't know. They're like right at the same point. Like, I feel like I would have to have some insider knowledge.
How old do you guys think Pete Carroll is?
I know he's old. He's the oldest coach.
He's like 72. Yeah, like he's not going to coach that much longer. There's no way he coaches in like another like 3 or 4 seasons. I don't think, because I mean, like how many coaches coach to those and it's like 75? You know what I mean? He's an old dude. Like at that point, Russell Wilson can still play another 6+ years and possibly still be really good for a lot of those, and then kind of start petering off towards the end, like most really good quarterbacks do. But he can still actually win you games and be really good for a little while, right? Whereas Pete Carroll might give you 2-3 more seasons and might say, I just don't want to coach anymore. I'm old. You know what I mean? I want to spend time with my grandkids. You know what I mean? That's the point that I'm making. I think that definitely should be a factor in, is how old your head coach, or how long is he going to stick around after you get rid of your quarterback. And I also, like I said, I think it's easier to find a head coach that'll put a good scheme in versus finding a really good quarterback that can actually run the scheme that it's in there, right? And I don't want to use this comparison as you're going to say I'm comparing the two, because I'm not. Because I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Russell Wilson. There, okay? Don't get mad. But you look at Aaron Rodgers.
Why would I get mad?
He's insane. Well, because I'm about to say this. Aaron Rodgers is really insane, but they slotted a new super young head coach in, and then he's been like, 26-6 in the regular season the last 2 seasons, right? And you could honestly say, is he really a good head coach, or does he just have someone really, really good like Aaron Rodgers, a really good offense? You know what I mean? You could make that argument. I'm not saying that he's a bad head coach. I think LaFleur is a really good head coach, but you could make that argument. You can make the same argument that Pete Carroll took over and then immediately got Russell Wilson, who started playing really, really good and went to a Super Bowl in year 3 and also inherited a really good defense right away, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying there's that argument to be had is like why hasn't Pete Carroll won more if he's that good of a head coach? He had one really good season, and then he made the Super Bowl, another one, and lost. So
and then I'm not trying to argue it, but why hasn't Pete Carroll won more? Why hasn't Russell Wilson won more if he's a really good quarterback?
No, I can understand that. But then also the team kind of went downhill after that too.
So let's move on from Russell Wilson. I want to ask you a question about Carson Palmer and Marvin Lewis. Like Carson Palmer, Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick?
Yeah,
right?
he was number 1 pick.
Number 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Like in that scenario, how do you decipher, okay, you have a really good quarterback supposedly coming out of the draft, but then Marvin Lewis never did anything. Like the two of them never really accomplished anything great.
Yeah, I think that one. My opinions on that whole thing goes on actual management, like above Marvin Lewis. I think the Bengals organization was a joke back then. I think it's gotten a lot better recently because they're actually willing to spend money now. But I'm gonna be honest. I think Marvin Lewis, he's probably the best head coach in Bengals history. I think we've probably said that before. But I think in his prime, I think he had some really, really good teams, and I think the issue is that the team wasn't willing to back him up or back Carson up to like make the team better afterwards. They were like, man, we're making some money now. Like we're doing really good. This is awesome, right? They're probably, this is the best we're going to get, right? And so then Mr. Brown didn't want to shovel out any more green dollars. So
I don't know. I think it's hard to argue that with like Carson Palmer for having Chad Johnson for as long as he did. And in my opinion, I think Marvin Lewis should have been gone way before that. And
I think we agree with that too. I think he should have been gone before he
right. And
was.
I know that there's not an argument with that, but it also is like he took Andy Dalton to the playoffs 5 straight years in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I feel like that's a hard debate.
I think their best season to actually like win playoff games and actually make a Super Bowl was the year he got hurt, which really sucked. I mean, he tore
they were
his
like
ACL,
what, 12-5?
12-4, 13-3.
Yeah,
they were really good
like
that year.
But
I actually really like that team.
I want to ask you the question now on this. So we had Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson. Which one are you going to keep? Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. If you were Robert Kraft and you were like, all right, Bill or Tom, one of you got to go. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about anything. Just strictly.
Like right now?
I really don't know. I mean,
for next season?
No. Like if they were both still on the Patriots, so
for next season, we'll say one of them
like
go.
Either Tom, you're leaving. Or,
so if you asked me last year, I 100% would have said Bill.
Yeah.
If you asked me this, I would still 100% say either way the Patriots weren't going to make it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
I know what you mean.
So I think that the Patriots team was on such a downslope.
Yeah.
And they were just coming down from their dominance that I don't think either one of them alone could have salvaged that team. I mean, the year before was not good.
No, I'm just
Brady
strictly
had a down year, and Brady was like,
I'm not talking about
performing very well.
or
Everyone
anything.
thought it was the end of Brady, and Brady left and got a better team and performed way better.
Right. I'm not talking about team. I'm talking like strictly name.
Who would you rather have?
Who would you rather have? Would you
I would
rather
have picked
have
Bill for sure.
Okay.
I would have picked Bill.
I think that
and
one's a
looking
tough
back,
one.
I think that Tom Brady, because I mean, I'm just an average guy sitting here watching a team, looking at stats, being a little nerd. I don't think I understood the non-stat side of Tom Brady and how much of an influence he has over his teams and players and what he can get accomplished. And I think having Tom Brady is like having a coach and a player.
Yeah, I can do that.
I agree with that.
I think you could almost put a bigger role on Tom Brady as, say, they did in Tampa Bay, which pretty much, I don't want to say ran offense, but he had a huge say in what they did as an offensive unit.
A lot of the Tampa Bay players said, too, like when they go into games and Tom Brady's running out, hypes them all up in the pregame huddle, and then does his like patented fist pump, goes, let's fucking go, like, and they all get pumped up. Like, he's like, I think it was Levante Davis. He goes, that dude says that, and we just like we lose our minds. Like, we're ready to like fucking die for this guy. You know what I mean? So
I think that my biggest thing, and I want to go back to the Russ Wilson thing, is what you guys were just saying, the leadership thing. Tom Brady obviously is a leader on and off the field. I would agree. Like, anybody, if Tom Brady walked in this room right now and was like, fucking do this, I'd be like, yes sir, like, I got you. But if Russell Wilson was like, walked in this room, I feel like he doesn't carry the same amount of respect on the team, if you know what I mean.
Definitely does not carry the same respect that Tom Brady does.
And
I 100% agree with that.
Think about like Jameis Winston. Like, that 1 year he played for the Bucks. Like, I know he had the most interception, but he had like the most passing yards. How much shit did he get for eating W's? Yeah. He got so much shit.
That
and
was
like,
also weird. So.
Yeah, I agree. It was weird.
I love it.
Like, I just feel like that is one of the biggest reasons with Russell Wilson. Like, I feel like he's not as dominant because I feel like it's more than just statistics. Like, I don't know.
Russell Wilson walks in this room, you'd jump up to ask for his autograph. So
I would not.
You 100% would. So
I would ask him. No, I wouldn't even ask
Lock
him
the
to come.
door.
Yeah.
So
What's the password, Russ?
I don't want to talk about Russ anymore because I need to help you, Zach. I need you to stop making yourself look like a fool. So, but I want to talk about the Belichick, what you asked for. So, I mean, before this season, I would 100% probably said Belichick just for the fact saying like.
I will throw something in. Is Tom Brady's at the end of his career?
Yeah,
Belichick could coach longer. Belichick could coach another 10, 15.
So
but that's the same argument you just had.
I know. I'm flip-flop. I'm flip-flopping the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson thing the other way around. How many more seasons do we think Tom Brady's going to play? He said he wants to play till he's, 45, I think? So that's, two more seasons?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play past 45 unless he were to win back-to-back Super Bowls, you know what I mean?
He's going to go for 10.
So you say how many championships do we have left with Brady? How many championships do we have left with Bill? You pick Bill.
I know. Honestly, I think I'd take Bill just for the fact I think I have a better chance of winning in the future with Bill. And again, I'm not saying Bill's like a spring chicken, right? I think he's older too. I don't think he's old as Pete Carroll, but he's older, right? I'm just looking at
second oldest.
Spring chicken.
Yeah. I'm just looking at saying strictly like at that point, right? Tom Brady's the best player of all time, but he's going to be 44 years old next season, right? It very well could be his last season next year. You never know.
I mean, Russell Wilson's not the youngest quarterback in the league, so for you to say that, I feel like...
Oh, Russell Wilson played for another 8 years.
I feel like that kind of flip-flops your whole argument.
He's also 12 years younger than Tom Brady.
Yeah, but the average NFL
12
career
years
is
younger than
3
Tom Brady.
years.
Not for successful QBs.
Not for successful quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is 37 right now. He's still playing insane.
Yeah,
right?
because he's good.
I know,
Yeah,
but
Drew Brees.
Russell Wilson can easily play till he's 37 years old and still be a good quarterback. Not as good as Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just saying.
I'm just giving you shit because I don't like the way that you flip-flop that.
Why not? It makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
I'm using the exact same logic.
It makes sense, but I think it's just because I know you're
You
biased
just agreed
towards...
it made sense with me.
No, because...
And now you're saying you don't agree with it.
No, it makes sense, but I just don't like it because you're biased towards Russell Wilson.
Anyways.
I use the same exact logic. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I can't win.
Any other NFL talk?
Do you guys think water boys should be paid more? I'm just kidding. I just wanted
to hold me back. Coach needs to get a payday.
I just wanted to keep talking about the NFL.
Motor City Dan Campbell. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
So Dan,
I heard he was on Pat's show though.
Yeah. So Motor City Dan. So he said something.
Who is this?
He's the head coach, the new head coach of Detroit. He's the guy that said they're going to be the meanest team. They're going to bite the kneecaps off of all their other.
They're going to keep standing back up.
They're going to keep clawing, standing back up, bite your kneecaps off.
Right.
They call him Metallica Dan because he like blares Metallica at practice where you can't even hear him yell. Like he's an insane person, right? But so they asked him, so who's going to make the front office decisions on players? Is it going to be you or the GM? And he said, at some point, an alpha knows when to let the other person think they're the alpha. And so basically what he's saying, I'm so much of an alpha, I'm going to let you think that you're making your call, but really you're getting the player that I wanted. That's basically what he's saying about the GM. Damn. So if him and the GM butt heads on a person, right? And then he's gonna. I know when to concede and let him get his guy because I was playing him the whole time, saying that's actually really the guy I wanted. He just like throws out these weird monologues all the time, saying like a real alpha knows when to let the other person think they're the alpha.
think he's a strange guy.
Yeah. He's also fucking yoked, too.
He makes awesome for,
sound bites. He's going to be awesome for sound bites.
He's just awesome for entertainment.
He was mic'd up.
But I don't know. At some point, you want your head coach to be a little more professional.
Dude, I cannot. No, I'm going to let you know right now. I cannot wait until the Lions go 3-13 this year because it's going to be really bad because they're not going to have a quarterback and they're going to best of the teams going to be really bad. And then he's every single post game press conference. I'm going to fucking love his sound bites. He's going to talk about how they weren't mean enough, they didn't want it enough. He's going to just try and get his team all amped up that way.
That old video that high school coach. He's like, I did my part. There's 52 guys out there that just weren't doing their job. I called the right plays. They just didn't run them.
Dude, I always felt like that was me in meetings at work. It was like, why isn't this done? I did my part. I fucking did it.
Motor City Dan Campbell. So if you're asking me right now, who would I rather have, Russell Wilson or Motor City Dan Campbell? I don't know, man. Russell Wilson never threatened to bite someone's kneecaps off.
That's funny.
And he's a lot younger. Dan Campbell's probably older than Russell Wilson, but
all right. So let's get on more of a serious topic. So as you guys know, I'm a big component on coaching. I think that makes a team, and without a good coach, you could have the best player in the world. I feel like you're not going to have a good team still, and I don't know if you would agree with that.
Depends what sport.
You're giving me that look.
Well, no, I agree. Coaching is very, very important, but I think it also
important.
I think it also agrees with your roster too. If you have a really, really good roster, you can have a pretty average or even bad coach and still have a good team.
So we're 4 games into spring training, and David Bell just needs to go.
Dude, it's spring training does not matter, Zach.
Baseball, spring training.
I know it doesn't
pitchers
matter
are pitching like an inning in 3, an inning in a quarter.
But I want to ask you,
players 1, maybe 2 at bats. Your pitchers are going out every other inning. You're literally just getting work.
It was a joke.
Although you see Trevor Bauer have 2 innings pitch and 5 strikeouts and 6 outs.
If I was going to say NFL coach is the most important, MLB, the coach is very much less, way more less than NFL. And NBA is probably at the bottom, but closer to MLB.
I feel like
less important.
The head coach in the MLB is not as important, but the
manager, no.
Yeah, not the managers, but the position coaches and
not as important.
Oh, I think that they're extremely important.
No.
They're
important, but they're not as important. Like NFL is way up there.
Think about how many hitting
their
coaches
make game plans. Their coaches make plays. They do all kinds of stuff. You could literally just throw out the Dodgers and say, go fucking win games. They're going to win games.
No, stop.
You can literally throw out LeBron out there and say, hey, go fucking coach the team yourself.
You know how many players have gone to hitting coaches and gotten way better? You know how many golf professionals have gone to swing coaches and gotten better? They're professional athletes.
They can do that on their own. They can hire their own fucking guys.
So I agree with you, Zach, on that. I'm just saying the fact that I'm talking about winning games, I think baseball's way lower than I think NFL's way up than above every other sport. That's the point he's making.
We got a camera. NFL, MLB, NBA.
So what I want to do real quick, actually, it's NFL, college football, college basketball. College basketball is more important than baseball because if you watch NBA players, let me finish this.
Junking up the argument. He's junking it up.
Why does a quarterback coach matter to the quarterback?
Listen, if you talk about the NBA being low,
throwing mechanics.
I actually kind of agree with that because I think a lot of
throwing
NBA
mechanics is not what they're going over.
That's the same thing as hitting.
No.
Yes.
They're going over game plans. They're going over defensive schemes. They're going over who to throw it to. They're going over plays. They're not going over throwing mechanics.
A quarterback has throwing. No. Even in the NFL, quarterbacks change their throwing mechanics. And the quarterback coach is the one who does that.
No, they don't.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
They already have their throwing mechanics.
Are you kidding me right now?
They might say, "Oh, you need to work on your footwork," and they work on it a little bit.
How many times have you been watching? How many times have you been watching the NFL on Sunday and they draw the little C on the quarterback? And they'll be like, "Oh, look at this guy."
You think they didn't know how to throw football? You think they got to the NFL and didn't know how to throw football?
A quarterback coach made them throw it better.
Oh my!
Just like a hitting coach makes you hit a ball better. Just like a golf coach, swing coach makes you swing better.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers needs a quarterback coach right now?
I think that he does. I'm sure that he could get better.
For plays, for defenses. That's why they use the quarterback coaches.
You really don't think that you're not working on mechanics?
Their mechanics is their least important part of what a QB coach does.
So I think that quarterback coaches definitely help with mechanics, but I don't think it's like you get to the NFL and he's like, hey, if you just move your arm out this much, you'll be able to throw it 20 yards further. And he does whoa!
I'm sure they watch him and they're like, all right, dude, hold the ball a little higher.
Yeah, I think the quarterback coaches honestly help the younger QBs in the league. But once you get your mechanics down, it's not like you're every single year you're going to change your mechanics. And they're like fine tune you every year. I think it's mainly
disagree.
scheme. Do you think there's a quarterback coach that's changing the way Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, all them throws every single year?
Jordan Palmer has his own camp.
If you're going to talk personally,
we're talking golf now. Okay.
I personally believe
as an ex-quarterback.
No, personally, I believe that I don't think that coaching or hitting coaches should change swings. Personally, I think they should leave them the fuck alone. I think they should maybe work on drills, work on mindsets, but I do not think that there should be a hitting coach in there telling players how to load, where their hands should be at impact, all this stuff. I don't think it should be there.
Jordan Palmer has worked with Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Sean Allen, Sam Darnold, and Joe Burrow.
Okay.
As a quarterback, as throwing mechanics, anything
every
like
single
that.
Season?
I'm not sure about every single season, but they have gone to them.
The biggest thing that they need to do is decision making. That's the biggest
I'm sure
part
that
of a
he
quarterback.
helps them with that
Decision making.
But if you
let's not lose the root of the argument, though. For real. So I think we can all agree NFL head coaches are probably the most important to a team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? After that, I would say MLB than NBA. I think they're way lower than an NFL head coach.
I would too.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
And I also think that college basketball and football are more important to their team than an MLB head coach or a manager, I should say, an NBA. Only for the fact for NBA is like a lot of the teams, like you watch James Harden, you watch Damian Lillard play. At some point, they're not even running plays. They're just giving it to Damian Lillard, and then he's going there like dribbling and shooting a shot. You know what I mean? Like they're playing ISO ball. You watch college basketball players, right? Every single set, offense is a set. Like they're running like motion offense the entire time. The coach is calling plays. That's why I think that like they have more impact on the game than an NBA coach. That's my opinion. That's why I brought college into it. And then college football, I just think it's more important than college basketball because it's football, and I think it's really hard to win football games compared to winning basketball games.
Right. There needs to be a way bigger game plan set.
Yeah. That was my whole point with that. But what I will say when it comes to managers in baseball, right, I think the most important part of their game is, one, whether you believe in analytics or not, whether they utilize analytics well, right, like actually utilize it the right way and actually get the best out of the players that are good in certain situations and put them in the right spots and take pitchers out and put pitchers in the right spots. I think that's where they impact the game the most because you can look at the Cubs World Series. They almost fucking blew it because Joe Madden threw Aroldis Chapman into the dirt that World Series, right? Aroldis Chapman, how hard does he throw? 105, 6 max? But he always throws like 101, 102. That last game, he used him 4 straight days, which he'd never pitched 4 straight days before, and he was throwing the ball 97 miles an hour, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's a situation where he kind of almost fucked over the Cubs, right? And I think that's where a baseball manager can affect the game more. And I think that the manager is definitely more important than the hitting coach, right? I don't think the hitting coach is going to change the mechanics that much. Not saying they're having the past. There's definitely been some where hitting coaches
they have changed them, and I disagree with.
Well, before you get on that tangent, I want to say I think there's some players where they've helped out, especially when they're young, and then they become better players because of that, right? But I think there's also some players they try to change and the player just can't catch on to it. Then he doesn't know what to do at the plate. In some cases, not all, just saying some. I think the manager is the most important, but I think it's way lower than the other ones. My opinion. Don't shoot me.
No, I agree with you.
Finish your argument.
In baseball specifically, since I'm a baseball player, or was, I currently am not. But
I play baseball at 12.
I would be, as a former player, if I made it that far, all the way. I made it through high school play, through college. I made it through AA, through AAA, whatever other leagues I went to, rookie ball. Made it through them all. You get all the way to the show, and he's like, "Oh, dude, your swing's jank." You're like, "Fuck you, bro! I've made it this far. You're gonna tell me my swing's jank now? That's bullshit."
I disagree.
I do not think they should make. I think they should show me drills. Say, "Hey, look, you're late on the fastball. We're gonna run these drills. We're gonna get you trained to catch up to these fastballs. Hey, I don't think you recognize these curveballs. We're gonna send you these curveballs over and over. We're gonna let you see the spin, let you recognize it. We're gonna alternate fastball curve. Whatever you do, I think there's ways to do it." You don't change the swing that got this player.
But what you just said, literally, you break it down to the simplest thing, and that is a mechanics of a swing. You could agree with that. You change your swing on a curveball, on a slider, on a fastball, change up.
You change your swing?
Yeah, you have like the angle of your swing, where your elbow is, your pivot. It all comes down to simple mechanics.
I mean, yeah, but you have those mechanics. You made it all the way to the show.
But a good hitting coach is going to make it better.
Get to the show.
How many times has Votto changed his swing?
Votto does it him fucking self.
He has a hitting coach that helps him. There's no one telling his dumbass
to choke up 6 inches on the bat.
He goes and says, "Hey, whoever the hitting coach is or whoever he trusts, help me. This is how I want to swing. Help me be better at this swing."
They do change their swings.
Okay,
you're right. They do change their swings. And I do not think they should.
I think the change more so comes when they're in the minors than it does in the majors. But I do want to say there's some instances where it's kind of fucked over teams, like the Cubs, who hired Chili Davis a couple years ago to be the new hitting coach, right? And he tried to change up like all their swings and make them like shorter on the ball so they could make more contact. And the Cubs had their lowest power numbers in like 10 years in that season, and they had their worst batting average in like really bad years, and they fired him immediately because he tried to change up all this stuff, and they went back to the next season and had a really good season because they went back to the normal mechanics. So I think to a point, like, and it goes to the NFL and everything too, like there's no one that's changing the way these quarterbacks that have been in the league for 10 years throw the ball. Right? They might, when OTAs first start, right?
They might say, hey, dude, you're dropping your hand here, right? And they might just show them. But they're not going to actually sit there and look at their arm, push it up, and do things.
Yeah, I don't know. The quarterbacks are throwing the same way every single year. Their mechanics are staying the same. Now, I do think when they're young and they have been throwing the ball a certain way and they say, all right, here's what you need to do. Here's how like Aaron throws it. Here's how Tom throws it.
Reminds me of Tim Tebow coming into the league.
Yeah, they changed his mechanics for sure.
Trying to change his mechanics and it absolutely flopping.
Yeah.
Right,
but
just did not
work. I just want to say I think it can do more harm than it can do good, but not saying it can't do good because it's definitely done good for some people and some players in different sports. But I don't think a quarterback coach sits there every single week and analyzes the way Aaron Rodgers throws the ball and says, yep, you're dipping your arm here a little bit. Like I'm not to say he doesn't do that, but it's not like he's changing his mechanics week by week or year by year. It's going to stay the same for the most part. I think they do way more as far as like recognizing defense and call outs and like all the little pre-snap things there. Like he's like calling out and pointing out the mic, too high safety, it's cover two, could be man, could be whatever. I think that's more so what the quarterback coaches help with.
Anything else you got? Wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, can I say my arguments now without you guys jumping in?
Wrap it
down
up.
my throat.
Wrap it up.
So
my God!
I do think that we'll just do a quarterback coach. I'll agree with what you say. A good quarterback coach does help a quarterback get better in those instances. But I also think that if you have a bad coach who doesn't understand basic mechanics of a quarterback, then why is he there? Why is he there? Like, if you can't improve a quarterback in all realms of being a quarterback, throwing, reading defenses, knowing plays, then in my opinion, you don't have a very strong coach.
No, I get that. We're not saying that the QB coaches teach bad mechanics. We're saying that
is exactly what you guys said. You said that it didn't matter.
No.
And by
You're making it seem like
by the time you get to the league, that they should know how to do these things.
This is how I know Zach lost an argument because he changes what we say.
No, I'm not changing. This is okay.
I'm not saying that they're changing their mechanics for the worse. I'm just saying when they.
I never said that they were either. No. I said that they were making them better.
What I'm saying is that 98, 99 probably % of their interactions probably do not have to do with mechanics.
Okay. And moving on.
I don't know. I've never had a QB coach. So.
Moving on. Moving on.
There's definitely mechanics involved, but it's not like a week by week or year by year thing. They change it every year.
Anyways, what we got? MLB Spring Training, or we want to talk more NFL?
I think we were trying to move on to Spring Training. I'm trying to figure out where we're at.
Hunter Green.
Hunter Green awesome. Comes out the other day. Well, he didn't pitch that great. So
no, but it wasn't awesome. Throw that hard.
But Hunter Green came out after post-surgery, whatever it is. He's come back. He's making a comeback. He's going to make it to the league. Let's hope sometime in the next couple of years.
We were just talking about him.
But he came out
Saturday
pumping 101. First pitch, second pitch, 102. Third pitch, 103, which is not unheard of in the league. There's I can't remember, the Cardinals pitcher throws gas.
Hicks.
Yeah, Hicks throws gas. So it's not unheard of. But that's awesome to see him coming after surgery and rehab and all that and pumping 103.
So I don't know.
It looked effortless too. Like when he threw it.
I don't know if it's the camera angle of the mound in spring training, but he looks huge.
It's different.
He's big.
Hunter Green,
like 6'5".
He is a big dude. Is he the next Chapman?
The camera. I think watching baseball, the camera angles make huge deals.
Yeah.
Like I'll see some camera angles that are pushed up and to the right, and the fastballs look like, I don't know. You can't really see it that well. The perfect angle is right behind the throwing, like where the release point, and you can see all the break and all the movement.
Yeah.
Some places get it wrong, but spring training is really bad because it's almost like underneath them.
Yeah.
And the ball looks like it's like zipping down at the
I feel like
zone.
most, like when they're playing in their actual stadiums, they're pretty good. Like they're in good spots.
Yeah, I agree. Unless there's a lefty. I think there needs to be separate cameras for lefties.
There is. They're just on the same, they're just over the right
They shouldn't
shoulder.
be over the right shoulder. They should be over the left shoulder.
Left shoulder, yeah.
And I think it would improve the quality of the game personally, but I know that it's hard to pick a stadium and say, oh, we're going to remove these seats. We're going to do all these modifications and put a camera here.
I think it would be hard because the batter's eye, like statistically, I feel like most MLB players are right-handed. And if you've ever looked at the Reds batter's eye, I feel like it's
to the left.
favored, more towards the right-hander batters.
I think you're right.
I just want to point out again, He threw that fucking effortlessly. Like, didn't even look, I mean, obviously he was really trying hard to throw hard, but it looked like he was just kind of just slinging in there.
Don't you hope that that's just his effortless and he can actually pump like 105?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Because I mean, if you watch Jordan Hicks throw, like he like really rears back, and you can tell he's like really come off the mound, like throwing it hard, right? With it looked like Hunter Green was really just like looked like he was doing long toss, and it was just 102, 103. I was like, holy shit, dude! I was like, I do that, and it goes 20 miles an hour. This dude does like 80 miles an hour faster than me.
The thing that's crazy is players can just catch up to it.
Yeah.
You're gonna pump 103 and someone's gonna hit a shot to right center. Like
Yeah.
what?
The video we were watching, the Angels dude, he was like lost. You could tell he's never seen anything faster than like 95.
I mean, if you're 6'5", I don't know exactly what Hunter Green is,
big.
but if you're 6'5" and you're throwing 103, imagine how close his release point is to the batter. It's got to be 6-7 feet. I don't know.
Well, what's the mount? Is it 66?
60.6.
I always get that confused. Yeah. So by the time he releases, he's
6'4".
53 feet. I don't know.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, dude, that's 103 from 53 feet is gas.
I think it's crazy
and players catch up to
the sports science thing where you don't even like statistically you don't even have the time to react to swing the bat.
Sports science does make things seem harder than they are, though.
Yeah,
because you look at a baseball and it is crazy because they showed a chart and they showed a ball travel, and it's like it travels this many feet before your eye can understand what's going on. It travels this many feet before you can like make a logical decision to swing.
Yeah.
And then you're basically blind after that.
Well, who was it? There was like,
but there's also many sports science when they're like, oh, this QB made this throw and led the player by this many feet and threw it at this angle. If they would have messed up this percentage of angle, it would have been bad. I'm like, it's not like that hard to throw a football.
Right, yeah.
Like, I could throw a foot. It might not be as consistent.
Right.
There was
come
like
on.
3 separate players I saw. It was like, who was it? It was like Chris Bryant, Manny Machado, and someone else. Basically said like they know like when they're going to swing at a pitch. Like before the pitch even comes, they decide I'm going to swing at this pitch. You know what I mean?
I forget who was talking.
And then
I think to some degree.
yeah, it's like so like if they like we're pretty sure they're going to get a strike, they just got to try and pick up whether it's going to be off speed or it's going to be a fastball, right? And that's where I think the guessing comes in. I think you and I both agree. We think players guess a lot more than they lead on pitches.
Think players guess a lot.
Yeah, I think they guess a lot of what a pitch is going to be.
And MLB level.
But there was like, I know Bryant said, I know Machado said, there was another player too. I don't remember if it was JD Martinez or someone said like they pretty much decide before the pitch comes that they're going to swing at it. The only times they don't swing at it is if when it comes off the hand, they think, oh, this actually might be a ball, and they don't have enough time to second guess themselves and actually swing when they decide I'm going to swing. No, I'm not going to swing. Yeah, I'm going to swing. Or if they go to swing, it's very obviously going to be a ball, and they try and check swing. That's what they are kind of saying. I could be wrong, but a lot of them were saying I'm going to swing at a pitch regardless.
We were talking about it. I think it was on this podcast about since I was a catcher for so long, the anticipation. Like, have you ever seen slow-mo MLB catchers?
They do it every time.
They still catch it, and then they close their eyes when they catch the ball.
When the ball gets hit.
Or, yeah, when the ball gets hit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it is as a baseball or like as a batter. Yeah. Like you're still going to anticipate the swing, and I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know either.
It made sense in my head.
It's all right. I said
I'm still baffled on our.
I said
our argument.
He's still on QBs.
Sorry, I said Poo Poo Smith Poopster earlier, so
yeah, nobody laughed.
That was
I wasn't trying to make a joke.
That was really funny.
That was terrible.
I saw jerseys. Some guy made it said Poo Poo Smith Poopster.
I see hundreds of things on social media funnier than that in a single day.
I thought it was kind of funny. Poo Poo Smith Poopster. You mean you wanted to rock a Poo Poo Smith Poopster jersey?
Moving on. Fernando Tatis coming in. Lily starting off his big ass contract, hitting a grand slam for Slam Diego. Dude, that's awesome, man. I mean, you pay the guy, he comes out and he performs, even though spring training, it doesn't matter. He's just showing you what's in fucking store for that big contract you pay him. And that's hype because they're probably the most hyped team. I know last year everyone was hyping on the White Sox, but I think Slam Diego just shut the White Sox out of the picture. We're talking about Slam Diego this year.
Slam Diego.
And
where are they at in payroll?
They're like one of those dream teams that
top 7, I think.
They're pretty high.
They're not going to win the World Series.
Tatis.
Pretty high up there.
Yeah. Anyways,
for sure.
That's irrelevant.
I was fucking with you.
That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That won't win you a championship. But I think that's super exciting.
You know what's exciting?
And they're a dream team. They're a team that literally, like the average fan, like me, who pretty much only cares about the Reds and what the Reds do. I think they're a team that the average fan like that can get behind.
Yeah.
And really root for when I get to the
because I feel like nobody is in the San Diego market. Like,
yeah.
I'm somebody, you know what I mean?
So I would say we live in Kentucky though too. So
right,
you gotta remember, we probably never see San Diego fans, but they're probably all over the place in the West Coast.
But that's what I wanted to like preferences as like we're in the Kentucky market, but how many Yankees hat do you see if you go to a Reds game, or like Cubs fan? Like you're a Cubs fan, like you've never lived in Chicago. Like how many, Boston fans?
Make a note now. If you're listening right now, make a note. How many San Diego hats have you seen to this date? And make a note for the next 5 years. How many San Diego hats?
It's going to grow for sure.
It's like how many way back in the day when we were in elementary school. I don't know if anyone else remembers this. There was Colts jerseys fucking galore, dude. Yeah. Every Friday there'd be like literally 40 people with Colts jerseys.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Colts fan in 10 years. Now, how many times do you see a Chiefs jersey? You don't see them that often, but you do see them.
I mean, they're starting to trickle in.
10 years ago, there was no such thing.
I didn't even know the Chiefs existed.
I told him I was driving on the road the other day and saw Baltimore Orioles logo on the back of this guy's truck. I was like, dude, I've been on this planet for 24 years and never seen a Baltimore Orioles fan.
That's funny.
It's pretty wild. Anyways, make a note. Let's see how many San Diego.
I also want to throw out. I'm a Cubs fan because my family is. I know I'm not from there, but you're making it seem like I'm going to be a Cub fan because they're good. Mm-hmm. No, my whole family's from Chicago. That's why.
I mean, what about the Cowboys?
That's a little bit different story. So I picked the Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys because I liked their jerseys on Thanksgiving when I was like 6. So kind of dumb reason, but I stuck with it. So
I've only known you to be a Cubs fan for like 5 years.
Well, it's because I've only known you for like 5 years. So
also, but let me finish my sentence about that. Let me finish my sentence. Is like Jake was saying, like over the next few years, it's going to grow because San Diego is not a large market like a New York Yankees or Boston Red Sox or Cubs, but with what they're trying to build there, I can see them start trickling in into the East Coast
for sure.
They will.
And being like that.
I think inherently they might have a bigger market than you think just because it's California, but I know what you mean. It's like nowhere near the LA or New York or Chicago.
But if you think about a California baseball team, who do you think of?
Dodgers and Angels, right?
Right.
Dodgers.
Probably more, the Dodgers.
Yeah. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I also want to point out another prospect too, like Wander Franco is number 1 rated prospect. First at bat just hits a tank. First at bat of his career in spring. Like it was literally like it was hilarious listening to the announcers because the announcers were like, "Here comes Wander Franco. He's the number 1 rated prospect in baseball. Getting ready to see his first action this spring. There's a lot of hype around this kid. Here comes the pitch. Oh, and it is gone. It's like it was just immediately just like tanks it down his left-handed hitter. He's gonna hit a lot of bombs.
So we'll get more into this on our non-sports. We're wrapping up sports here in a minute, but I'm excited about what Texas just announced because your boy has 2 trips planned to Texas this year.
Oh, really?
To go watch baseball.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's awesome. You're gonna go check out the new stadium.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Rangers.
And you're gonna go. Oh my! Don't go.
The cheaters.
Dude, can you boo them for me?
Oh,
can you send me a video of them just announcing one of their players and you just boo, boo? I would love it.
By that time, I'll be like 4 or 5 months into jiu-jitsu. Somebody comes at me, I'll be prepared.
Why are you so excited to go? With what Texas just announced?
He's going to Texas.
You didn't hear what they announced?
We need to flatten the curve, Zach. That's very selfish of you.
Dude, I don't want to be recorded about all this shit. Anyways. Very strong views about it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm excited. Haven't been to a baseball game in over a year, and our plans got canceled last year. But it'll create good stories for the pod. Good stories for the pod.
Sweet.
I seen their stadium when it was being built. When I went to Dallas for a Cowboy game. It was like still being built. And it looked really cool while it was being built. And then I saw what it looked like when it was finished. And I was like, ugh.
Jake, what are we doing next week?
Dude, we are like a little over a week away from Selection Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Which for those of you who don't know, you should know because you're listening to this podcast. So man. I'm not even going to talk about it.
I can hear the CBS March Madness
it's
music
March, baby. Let's get it. I don't have much to say now. Do you guys want to hit on anything on college basketball?
No. But
I don't think so. I'm rooting for Houston all the way this year. We're taking it. I need
Houston.
the American. Yeah, dude, I need the American to come out and perform. They got a good team this year.
Time out. You know that there's a kid from our high school that's really good that plays for West Virginia?
Yeah. I was talking about that the other day. Yeah. I was like, how crazy is that? I don't know. For the people that didn't go to our high school, this is irrelevant. But I was like, were they good? Did they like win state or anything?
I'm pretty sure
they have 2 players. They have a Xavier player.
Guy plays for Xavier too.
Yeah, I think that they went to the state championship game, but they lost.
Okay,
I remember going to it.
They had to be good. They had 2 D1 players. There's no way they weren't awesome.
If it's the same year I'm thinking of, and the dominoes kind of fall in place, I'm pretty sure those 2 played when I went and watched them at state. But isn't that fucking nuts?
Yeah, that is nuts.
Also, March Madness again, one of the best betting times of the year, in my opinion. the best sports gambling time of the year outside NFL season.
I think it's
number
also
2.
like the dumbest time to gamble.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
Because
it's
there's
also
absolutely
it's
like
also
such crazy shit happening.
I mean, some guy put all these numbers together. Historically, you can bet like $1 on every single team, every single upset in the first round, and you could make money on it. Like historically, if you put $1 on every single game for just the upsets to
it
win,
almost doesn't even make sense.
Are we going to have a don't think about it pick?
right.
Is it coming back?
He's picking a 1 seed. Don't think about it. Pick the 1 seed.
Don't think about it. Just bet Virginia over UMBC.
Money line. Money line.
But what I want to say is one of the best betting times of the year. But also one of the best time for debaters to debate, right? I mean, obviously, sports debates is a year-long thing, right? You know, we got Skip, we got Stephen A, we got Shannon, we got all of them, Undisputed, we got First Take. But whenever Selection Sunday happens, and they get heated about who this guy should have been the 8 seed, not the 7 seed. Like it is, I love it. I love seeing people blow it over 1 seed difference. Both teams still in the tournament.
I feel like
so 1 seed difference, and they blow up. I love it.
I feel like there's not going to be many debates like that on this podcast because I don't give a shit about basketball that much.
I'm just talking about,
Jake doesn't care
on TV.
either.
On TV, I think it's hilarious. And then also I want to point out that Duke's probably not going to make the tournament. UK probably not going to make the tournament.
I thought Duke pulled out for the rest of the season.
No, not yet. They
didn't.
Coach K will. He'll say, guys, it's about COVID. We got to keep our players COVID safe. So we're going to opt out of the tournament when they're like, 11 and like 14. So
yeah.
Also, so Duke, UK probably going to make it. UNC's in the bubble.
Just so the listeners know.
I think they got a better shot. Also,
we care.
Your boys IU, man.
Yeah,
struggling.
Last night, put them out, or 2 nights ago.
Did you see what Trace Jackson Davis did too? Like the best player? So they were in a huddle towards the end of crunch time of the game. They were down by like 6 points. And he was like, Archie Miller was talking to him, and he just told Archie Miller, "Fuck you."
No, he didn't.
Like I was trying to find the video, but they're literally sitting there. He just literally looks back and goes, "Fuck you."
Damn.
Yeah, and people were pretty sure it was at Archie Miller, but you obviously can't 100% tell.
Right.
But
no,
so
I turned it off
people
when they
think he's
started
gone. People think
fouling.
he's going to the draft for sure.
He should.
Yeah, I think he should.
Everybody
too.
should.
I think Archie Miller needs to get fired too. From a
Dude,
Purdue
I
fan,
agree.
from a Purdue fan, I would love it. I think he really exemplifies the Hoosier way. I think they need to extend Archie Miller, give him a 7-year contract.
No.
Right? Extend Archie Miller. He's really once he gets his guys in. I know he's only been there 4 years, but once he gets his players he recruited in, they're going to be good.
Listen. So, obviously, I wasn't around when Bobby Knight was there, but we know stories about Bobby Knight. It was a very gritty, mean guy.
Yeah, and he beat people.
Yeah, he punched people in the face.
That's why he got fired.
Okay, Tom Green was the same way. He didn't punch people, but he was like very like
animated,
fiery. Yeah, like
he was really animated.
yelling at everybody.
Also married to Joe Flacco's sister. So.
I did know that.
Harbaugh's sister. Sorry,
yeah. I got the reference there. Yeah. Joe Flacco, Harbaugh. Yeah. Okay, but anyways. That's not Archie Miller. Archie Miller is not going to get in somebody's ass like Tom Crean did. And Tom Crean had very good teams. Jake even liked him. And the only reason he liked him was for not the right reasons, but he still liked him.
That is funny.
Oh, well.
But
Nobody
also,
cares about IU basketball.
This week, too, Purdue IU for the final game of the season.
Purdue's ranked. I was pissed about that.
Yeah, they're good. They've won like 5 in a row now. They're playing awesome. It's fucking great.
I think Indiana's out. Oh, well. Jake.
They are out. They're 12 and 14. There's no way they make it in. They win the tournament. They win the Big Ten tournament they're in.
So, you know what? That'd be cool to have a stadium full of people for March Madness. You think it would happen?
Yeah, did you see all the games in Indiana?
It's
not going to happen. They already said it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen?
Did you see all the games in Indiana?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so like I think the first 4 games are going to be at Assembly Hall, Mackey Arena, which is Purdue IU. It's going to be at Butler, and it's going to be somewhere else. So they're all the games are going to be in Indiana. I think the championship's going to be in Conseco Fieldhouse or whatever it's called now.
Banker's Life.
Banker's Life, I think is what it's called now. But yeah.
Oh, well.
Be pretty cool.
All right, Jake.
I'm pumped.
Bring us into this next segment. It's all on you.
NBA.
No. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
You guys are alienating the whole thing. You guys start growing these subscribers. Talk about the NBA next week. Anyway, go ahead.
It's called Gridiron Garage.
Why are we talking about baseball?
Because they have gridirons.
They don't.
Because nobody cares.
Anyways,
it's my podcast, Griff.
A couple days ago, Texas announced that it is 100% open. Now, we're going to stay kind of out of politics here, but I do personally believe that it was a makeup policy.
Can I clip that?
I don't care. It was definitely a makeup policy for after everything got fucked up with the power grid like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's like, forget about that. We're open. Texas is awesome. So Texas is 100% 100% open. I want to know what you guys are looking forward to. I don't know if this is the end of the tunnel for COVID or if it's the end of the tunnel for COVID policies. I don't really know what's going on. But what are you looking forward to getting back to getting open?
As small as it is, I want to go to a fucking restaurant full of people, an hour, 2 hour wait, no mask, just everybody loving life.
And then complain loudly about how your meal was raw or something. So
no, I don't even want that. If I had the money right now to tip a server $100, I fucking would. I would, because I feel like we need to get past all this bullshit and do it. But a restaurant full of people watching a sports game all together as one. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I want to go to a baseball game so bad.
Dude, sports coming back. Yeah. I think the Reds got approved for 30% capacity.
Hell yeah.
Which is pretty much what they have already.
Yeah, right.
So
that's a typical
the Reds are at full
July
capacity, baby.
Yeah.
Especially weekdays. That's probably a weekday capacity, definitely.
I just want to be like complaining at the Holy Grail because I can't get a fucking beer because all the chicks are cutting in front of me and the bartenders are taking their orders first. I want to sit there and be complaining to you guys, this fucking bitch cut me in line and the whole time and then getting ready to go into the game in 40 minutes.
What I'm looking forward to.
What's that?
That is probably one of the worst things about COVID, and it has driven me insane, is they're going to take the fucking pool noodles out of the hole at the golf course.
Quit screaming.
No, dude, this is... I'm mad. I'm mad.
No, you know what? They've already done that.
Big mad. Some places have already done it.
No more COVID birdies and COVID bars.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest bullshit.
Just rocket it off.
No, they've done it, but they still have the thing, and so you don't hear sound when it goes in, right? They still have the PVC pipe or whatever.
What we were talking about the other day is...
what is the point? I don't know. The germs are in the hole.
So
you don't touch the flagstick.
The jack hole.
The jack hole.
What I'm saying is, I can understand. Like, I can understand.
The
like
you're right. Everyone touches the flagstick.
I can understand the flagstick. I understand that. I also understand the pool noodle sticking out, so your ball bounces off, so you want to reach into the cup. But when they put it down in the cup, it's gonna fall on the pool noodle inside the cup. You know what I mean? You're still reaching down, touching it in there. You know what I mean? And
I don't know, dude.
You're probably touching the root of the.
If they just leave the pole, you're
probably touching the shaft.
Don't touch the pole. And you can play normal golf.
My thing with it, and I don't want to get into politics about it, but the whole mask thing, I think I'm kind of done with it. But anyways.
I think everyone doesn't want masks. I think it's the fact that it's like still like...
Oh, I do want to say. I don't like masks. You want to know what is proof that I don't like masks?
What's that?
Is that I literally ride my motorcycle and risk my life by wearing an open face helmet,
God.
Right? I don't wear an open face helmet. I could literally scrape my face off, but I will take that risk and not have anything on my face.
Dude, you have COVID just flying at you.
Jake did say like
literally will risk my life, risk my face getting scraped off by payment.
Jake did say like week 7 he's a nose out kind of guy. So.
Yeah, I was on the train of no mask for a while. So, I hate him.
You know the stupid plexiglass shit that they put up?
Yeah.
I've never seen one person stand behind that. It's always been to the side.
Around.
Yeah, to like if you're giving the waitress or whatever your card.
My girlfriend works at Hobby Lobby. She says like they do it to the cashiers all the time. They have the plexiglass, and the person will walk to the into the plexiglass and then have a conversation with them.
I feel like it's just human nature. Like you don't
it's in the way. You want to make eye contact and like interact with someone. It's in the way, so you walk to the side of it. I think that does happen all the time.
Dude, I'm just ready for like human interaction, and I think it's sad that like some humans are going to be scared to like even look at people. Remember when it first came out? Like nobody would make eye contact with anybody.
It was honestly scarier.
It was scary.
It was pretty terrifying when we didn't know that much about it.
Yeah.
But now that
I thought it was terrifying too whenever I'd see someone sneeze in public. Oh.
Yeah.
You sneezed?
That still is a thing.
Do you take your mask off to sneeze?
I've seen that too.
No. You sneeze right into your mask?
I don't sneeze into my mask.
Yeah, you have to. That's what the mask is for.
No, you take it off and you like sneeze into your shirt or something.
I take it down and do this, and
I
cover it and I do it in the elbow.
That is literally one of the biggest reasons that you wear the mask. To stop the sneeze.
I don't want to wear a mask that I just sneezed on my snot to.
It's supposed to stop the snot.
So what do you do?
You sneeze into your shirt.
So like the one time you actually spray snot and spit into the air, and you pull your mask off for it.
But you put it in your shirt.
I'm not pulling it down and just going achoo up in the air to everyone. I'm sneezing and doing the same thing you would do that. So what do you do when you sneeze into your mask?
Stop.
At 8 a.m.
make a policy. You don't have to wear a mask. You have to walk around with your fucking arm over your face. How stupid does that sound?
What I want to say is
stupid.
What do you do with your mask when you sneeze into it at 8 a.m. and you got to work till 5 p.m. that day?
It's fine. It dries off. You breathe into it all day.
Jake's that weirdo walking around the office like, achoo, and then just keep going because he sneezes into his
sneeze
mask.
that often. It's not that big of a deal. No, I mean, I'm at work. I'm in my cubicle. I'm not.
I pull it down and I sneeze into my armpit or sneeze into my elbow.
I just disagree with your whole premise because that's the only time you actually spit in there.
But you're still covering it up.
I'm not spitting in the air. It's getting covered still.
So why don't you walk into a restaurant or a
because of what Griff
with
said.
your fucking arm over your face?
Because you're not sneezing it all the time.
If that's so effective, you shouldn't wear a mask. You should just put your arm over your face.
We should be wearing masks in general.
Okay. I've seen many things that are saying the masks are there.
Political.
The masks are there for accidents, right? You can't catch the sneeze, so the mask catches it for you. That's what I've seen.
Griff's like a pull-out method guy.
Listen.
It's you guys, the pull-out method. You guys cannot get pregnant.
You guys do not know the level of COVID defense I have done compared to you guys. You don't know the level of COVID defense I've had to go to at work compared to what you guys. I'm serious.
I agree with you.
You guys sit at home and work all day. Yeah, I do. Let's do the next one. The next one's interesting.
All right. So we got in an argument the other day, not on the podcast.
Yeah, Biden versus Trump.
But the argument was if the moon blew up, could humans survive?
No.
And I think we came to a conclusion that after thousands of years, it'd be pretty difficult, but possible.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, thousands of years, we could adapt. So this brought me a segment here. Could humans survive? So I'm going to bring up examples or scenarios, and you guys are telling me if the human race itself could survive. All right.
Are any of these off the wall?
The moon blows up.
No.
No, never?
No.
Like after 1,000 years, we don't think we can adapt and figure out?
How does the moon blow up?
I don't know.
Just explodes?
I mean, we could explode it. It could just drift off into space. I mean, a sun flare could just knock it off somewhere.
Yeah.
There's things that could happen. An asteroid could hit it and push it off into space.
Wouldn't it mess up the ocean tides too?
The ocean tides, I think that article we read said it wasn't that important. The biggest thing is it would tilt us off axis I feel like those are every like 5,000 years. So basically, we're in North America.
Yeah.
If the Earth got tipped off axis, that North America would be the new Antarctica.
Yeah, seasons would change.
Not the season. It would literally like make us a pole.
Yeah, so there's only one season, so the seasons will change.
So we would just have to pick up civilization, move it to a warmer place.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the presidential debate?
Have I ever watched it?
Yeah.
Yes.
When does the moderator debate with the contestants?
Oh, no, I'm debating.
You're asking us the question.
Dude. I'm in this.
So I think...
Zach, I agree with Zach.
You ever watched the debate and said, I want to vote for the monitor?
Moderator.
The moderator.
Monitor.
I want to vote for the TV monitor.
I want the hall monitor. Put them on. Anyways.
What's another one?
Hold on. I think that those are the two biggest reasons why we couldn't survive, because the tides... How much that affects the
it affects the
fish,
the food chain, and
the food chain.
Ocean.
Yeah, that, and I feel like eventually that would get to land. Probably not in the next, 100
what happened
years.
to all the pescatarians?
How would you get to your boat if the tide is way out there to go fishing?
Would stay exactly the same.
Would it?
The tide wouldn't move. It would be literally level. Okay. Like the ocean level would be the same height.
And I feel like over time, if the Earth's axis tilts, eventually we'll be fucked. Because
well, yours flat, so it's on an axis.
All right, what's the next one?
Whatever. I'm going to say that I think humans could adapt, but it wouldn't be very easy. Okay.
All right, what's next on monitor?
Nuclear war with North Korea.
Oh my god.
I think we just all die.
Yeah, I think we all
Everyone? The whole human race? Even people that live in Australia?
They pretty much said there's enough nukes on the Earth to have a global thermonuclear war where just a bunch of fallout would go over the world.
If it was just us in North Korea, the nukes would be flying and hitting in the same countries.
Yeah.
Would Australia survive?
No, because
it depends on where the fallout's going to blow, right? Because that goes miles, all the nuclear fallout.
Eventually the toxins will get into the Earth's atmosphere, and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, also it's a nuclear fallout.
You'd be breathing.
So it's going to go downwind. So the only reason that
downwind,
no,
we're golfing here.
I'm serious. That's what we'll do. Like literally, it would go with the way the wind's blowing, where the air goes. Because it's the same thing happened when Chernobyl blew up, right? The reason it didn't engulf the whole Earth and go everywhere is because it was nowhere near the amount of nukes that we have, right? So if we sent off all these megaton nukes, right, just add each other, there'd be so much fallout. Because I watched a video on this.
So theoretically,
so it makes it true. So
North Korea is not the biggest country in the world.
No, we could just.
Could we destroy North Korea before it destroys the whole world?
No.
So
we would just have to hit the places where the nukes are.
Well,
and then they can't launch any more nukes at us.
What I'm getting at, though, is most of them have nuclear subs. Like, most of the nukes are fired from subs nowadays.
What?
Nuclear submarines? You didn't know about that?
And in the ground.
Dude, so that's one of the conspiracies, too.
What do you mean in the ground?
They build these, like, big nuclear
silos,
things.
Yeah, so those are
they
top
shoot
secret.
out, yeah.
So
They,
that's how it was
I do know
done
that.
over years. But now the nuclear subs, you can fire, like,
But that can
nukes
only
from
hit
subs.
the coastal. That could literally hit, like, New York. And that's about it.
No, it would be hitting, like,
Well, the thing is, though,
Alaska
so
and
with subs,
North Korea's on that side.
with the
What?
Yeah.
North Korea's on the
It would
New
be
York
like
side.
Alaska.
So-
No.
No?
No, if you fired a nuke...
I'm trying to do math. No, I'm trying to do math. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to do a map in my head.
Listen, if you were in North Korea or Japan, it would be closer to go to California
North
or...
Korea's not by Japan.
Yes, it is. It is north of Japan. It is on like the
It's
same like
not north of Japan. It's
East
south.
Coast.
It's closer to India.
No, it's not. India's on the other side
we
of
gotta pull up
Asia.
a picture.
All right,
where's
Japan
North
and
Korea?
North Korea is on like the east side of Asia, so it would be closer to go to like Hawaii. That's why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, because back in the day it was the closest thing to America. So if you fired a nuke from North Korea, you would hit Alaska,
Oh,
California.
no, you're right. I'm a dipshit.
He is right.
It would
I was
be
thinking of
way
Vietnam.
farther.
Yeah, they'd hit L.A.
I was thinking of Vietnam.
Yeah. But other than, I mean,
You're right, Zach.
other than that, they couldn't hit me here in Kentucky.
What I was getting at with the subs, though, dude, I guarantee they have some.
Bro, a
like
sub cannot jump out of the water and get me in
It
Kentucky.
doesn't. It doesn't. Oh my god. So
All right, I'm going to answer the question.
It fires a missile out of the
Personally,
submarine.
I think we could destroy North Korea before the world ends.
No, we couldn't.
But I think there's definitely enough nukes to end the human race.
Do you know what? Do you know what happens if we shoot nukes in North Korea?
What happened?
They shoot them back immediately because they can tell that we've shot nukes at them.
And then satellites will detect it, and they would get shot down anyway. That's how.
So,
I mean,
That's how our
it is
airspace is
possible.
protected.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like if they shot all their nukes at us. I don't think we will stop every nuke.
I think
All
it
right,
would
let's
be.
vote.
I don't think so.
What do you want? No?
The world ends. Global thermonuclear war.
The world ends.
I also
The world ends.
I want to throw out a
The world
conspiracy though
ends.
too.
Yeah.
So it's all
I
top
think
secret.
We could end North Korea before.
There's no confirmed amount of like nuclear subs that we have. Like obviously it's classified info. There could be fucking like 500 submarines under the water.
we
You know
have
what I mean?
enough to end the
No, that's
world.
what I'm saying.
I'm saying that we could destroy North Korea before
Also,
everyone
got a question.
dies.
How many blimps do you guys think there are in the world?
I've heard it's like 7. You listen to
Yeah,
part of my
there's not-
take too much.
Yeah, it's 15.
Yeah, there's not very many.
15. That blew my mind.
Hindenburg was the last one.
Yeah, they don't use them for anything.
Dude, I thought there'd be like way more.
Are you kidding me? Goodyear has the
Goodyear
most
blimp.
famous blimp ever.
15?
But considering there's only like 15, don't take
That
that
blew my
hard to
mind.
be famous.
I listened to it.
They're
I
just
said
a
1,000.
advertisement.
I said 1,000, and then you go 15. I was like, what?
All right, what's the next question?
Right. If all the ice sheets in Antarctica melted, could we
world
survive
flood?
it?
No, we would
Wouldn't the world flood?
drown. Yeah, the world would
wouldn't it
flood.
Can Antarctica literally fill the entire world with water?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah, I've seen
theoretically,
that.
the North Pole would too. Then
If
right?
I planned on actually looking this up before we came in here, but
I've read this
don't think
article that if sea level changes by 1 foot in the Atlantic Ocean, all of New York City would be underwater.
we don't need New York City for the human race to survive.
Do you know how many people live in New York City?
They wouldn't move, Zach. They
So,
would. They would
Where would they move to?
How's it?
They would move. I don't know. Fucking 10 blocks to the west.
the middle of Kansas?
How's it all gonna melt that fast? Like I feel like the more
It would melt over a period of time, right?
Okay.
And everyone have the ability to move. I mean, if it melted immediately, there'd be a tidal wave flying our way.
yeah.
Boys, this episode's all on you guys. My phone doesn't work.
I don't know. I don't know what happens. How much water
think
is
we're
there?
screwed.
I mean, if there's enough water to fill up all the land, then we're definitely
Yeah,
screwed.
we're screwed. I think
we're
But I don't
screwed.
think there's that much water.
But are you talking about like all the ice melts?
I mean,
right? 'Cause
this
there's
has
ice
to end
that's-
humans as is. So, I mean, if there's like 10, a little civilization of 100,
So, well, yeah,
we're still alive, right? If there's 10 people living on the Alps,
it'd be like
the end of
Waterworld.
this.
I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Waterworld, but like they adapted to like a world that flooded, and there was a guy called it was like
All right.
half fish, half people. That were
moving on.
mariners.
I'm going to agree with you guys on this one. Could human race survive an alien invasion?
Could or would?
Could.
Could, yes. I guess all these could be could. I'd say yes to could, but would? I'd say would, no, could, yes.
I doubt. If the aliens have the ability to get here and invade us, we're probably fucked. Their technology is probably so much better than ours.
They could be friendly, and we'd survive.
And I feel like the word invasion means that they're not friendly.
It's like a zombie apocalypse.
Or they could.
invasion. Oh,
they
is that
could.
next?
They could just want to enslave us, right? And then we're still surviving. We're just having miserable lives.
Okay.
I think that aliens beat us as well.
Would
aliens beat
but
humans?
would
no
they? No, we would not survive. We'd get our ass.
Well, since Zach said it, does
go
the
hard?
human race
Does Earth go hard?
survive a zombie apocalypse? And I think no. I think this is the end to every zombie movie ever. Is that
Let me ask you a question on this. Do they die, or is it like zombies in Call of Duty where you like repeatedly have to kill them or shoot them to kill them?
I think if you kill one, they're dead.
Okay.
But
Yes.
if a zombie kills you, you then become a zombie, and the force like doubles.
Okay. I think that the statistic
Gotta
has
kill
been
the first
proven
zombie.
that Americans have more guns than anybody and more ammo. I think that we for sure win that one. If you can kill them on one shot.
I don't know how.
Well, I don't think they
how do you-
necessarily die. in
I
one
think
shot. I don't
you
know.
can shoot them in the brain.
Yeah, headshot, one shot.
I think you headshot one
Shoot
shot.
them in the body. They just keep coming at you because they was like.
I
don't feel
mean,
pain.
shooting range are going to be very busy, boys.
What I want to say.
I hope not. Wasting ammo.
Maybe you
I
take
think
out.
the zombies win because I just think they keep doubling and
Maybe
doubling.
you take
and
out
getting
Patient
bigger.
X though, Rick, real quick, and you get lucky. Like your situation with the nukes, right? We fire off the nukes before they do.
Yeah.
Right. More than likely though.
I think
no.
the zombies beat us.
I
think that's the end of every movie
Actually, I think
and
I've watched-
every TV show, and we just have not got that far. in the
every
plot
zombie.
line.
Every zombie movie I've ever watched, they usually like everyone ends up dying.
How do you win? You shoot them all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shoot them all. Okay.
And then you could probably get infected by them while they're dead on the ground though too.
Or
if it's like a virus or a fungus.
Or you wait for Antarctica to unfreeze and then you drown them.
Have you guys seen the zombie parasites though that like are on like mushrooms and stuff like that?
No.
Like mushrooms will attach to like snails and stuff like that, and like literally like they control their brain, and the mushrooms will make the snails move to a different part, and then so and then they'll leave the snail, and the snail dies. And so some people theorize that if there ever were going to be zombies, it would be like a fungus that would like get in our brains and just make us like mind numbness and control. Obviously, there'd be no reason for them to be bloodthirsty.
Doesn't
though, but
mad cow disease somewhat affect their brain and how they function?
I think my
I'm not
dad
sure.
had mad cow disease
What?
or was like exposed to it.
Really?
Yeah, because he lived in England in the 90s, and I don't know. There's always a question: is like, have you ever? Huh?
mate,
Yeah, I don't know.
bro.
But I don't know. He always gets asked that question, and he like gets denied certain things because like the potential of being exposed to it.
Interesting, isn't
Is
it?
your dad a zombie?
He might be. Maybe that's why he's so funny.
All right. If there was a massive asteroid heading our way,
No,
could human race survive it?
no.
Yes,
Could human race
Yes.
send out missiles?
yes.
Could NASA fix this problem for
That
us?
happens way more than we think.
Redirect an asteroid
Yes,
or blow up an asteroid to save our lives?
yes.
What? Like, so what do you mean a massive? Like,
I would
Something we
say
can
at
handle,
least
or
the
like-
size of Texas.
Oh my God.
no chance.
What's bigger, Alaska or Texas?
Alaska?
Alaska's bigger.
Alaska's like
I was just making sure. You guys didn't know where fucking North Korea was, so.
No, I did not. You're right. I did not know where North Korea was.
not cultured.
To be fair,
I don't think we do.
None of us have been there, right? They don't let us.
I mean, have you ever had a globe?
unless we got like an Armageddon situation. Like I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but there's an asteroid, and
So-
astronauts are going to save it, but the guy drives a driven missile and sacrifices himself to blow up the asteroid. But I feel like if you blow it up, there's going to be smaller pieces that are still going to fall to the earth, and it's going to fuck a lot of shit up.
No.
It might not end the earth, but it's going to
Okay,
fuck shit
so
up.
the theory is that if you can catch the asteroid super, super far away, like you can fly out, meet it somewhere, and if you can direct an asteroid like a 100th of a degree,
a little bit. It'll
not
miss.
even less than 100 of a
miss.
degree, the distance that 100 millions of miles till it gets to Earth is huge. From
Yeah, I get that.
100,000th of a degree, or whatever. So it's like not that hard if you catch it far away.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we had the technology to do it. So
then-
I think we die. I think that thing hits us and we
I
just
will rechange
go
my.
into
I will change
eternal
my
ice
answer
age.
to: could we survive? Yes, we could, but would we? Probably not.
What's next?
running out of oil.
Yes.
Yeah,
we
I
could
think we'd survive that.
I think we would
adapt.
survive it.
It'd be
But
really hard.
we would literally go back like 100 years in technology.
No. We're so advanced in like solar research and
Dude, you cannot
battery
power the
research.
world on solar power right now with the current technology.
No, but
you
if-
cannot power the world on wind power right now.
I agree with
our
that.
technology.
But if oil was taken away, don't you think that we would put all of our mindset into figuring out how to expedite solar and battery research?
Dude, well, for one, everyone, if it was instant, everyone on this planet right now would lose their ability to drive.
Okay.
You would
Bike, run,
You would probably
adapt. You would go way closer to where you live, just like old societies did.
You would literally go back, maybe not 100, maybe 50 years. You'd go back in time in your
Guys, you're
technology.
missing the big picture.
What?
Take $100 million, get it right the first time,
No, I think we all agree we'd survive.
We would survive, but
I think we'd survive.
But there would be some massive implications that I think we're all completely.
Sure.
I think that it would be a big swing in society, but I feel like we would be able to adapt way easier than if we lost the moon.
Gas stations go out of business.
50 years. It would take us to get back to where we're at now.
I don't even think it would take that long.
I think it would. I don't know.
50 years?
I don't know. I don't think we're at the level at other energy sources that we think that a lot of people, especially the individual, thinks we're at. I think we're behind what people think we can do. Listen to this. So, a year ago maybe, and my mom was really wanting some speakers for the outside to play while she's in the hot tub or on the back porch or doing whatever. And she doesn't want to run a wire or anything. Doesn't want to do any of that work, or I don't want to hire someone to come in and literally run a wire or just have something plugged in that's kind of ratchet looking. So I was like, well, technology's pretty fucking good. I'll get a solar powered speaker. You know how fucking hard it is to find a solar powered speaker? To find a speaker that can run off a solar panel? You'd think they'd make 1 billion of these. What a fucking idea, dude. Any outdoor patio can have a solar powered speaker. I ended up finding one, but it was very hard. Think about that.
Do you
think about how we think the world can run off solar powers, and they can't even hardly make a consumer product that can run a speaker off of solar power.
But you got to think about the demand of that. Who wants a solar powered
Anyone
speaker?
that literally wants a speaker outside.
But the majority of people would probably, I would say, rather have their house powered by solar panels than a rock speaker powered by a solar panel. So what do you think that they're putting more of their research into? Probably how to power a house. Wouldn't you say? I'm not saying...
You think you'd be able to take the same technology trickle down to a speaker by now?
Yeah, but if a company was going to sell that product, do you think that they would make more money building solar panels for houses or Bluetooth?
It'd be a separate company that would be like, oh, dude, we make speakers. Let's get this trickle down technology.
I just want to say, not once in my life I've ever said, man, I really need a solar powered speaker today.
That's what I was thinking
my mom
too.
Did. She got one, and that's actually pretty dope.
Well, your mom also shot me with a gun.
It's actually super dope.
Would you want a solar power speaker?
If I had a house with a back patio that was meant for people to group together, it would be a fucking genius idea.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Would you rather have that or wire speakers into the side of your house? You won't be able to see the speakers and it would look legit.
The wire would be perfectly fine, but that you'd have to hire a contractor or have the skills to literally wire stuff through walls.
It should be all right. You can get it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. But you think my mom wants to do that?
I mean,
don't want to do that.
I think it's a cool idea. I'm just trying to debunk your theory that I don't think that the common people
my theory
wants
is that I have the product, and it's a fucking dope-ass product.
All right.
It is literally like a 2-foot-tall box that plays loud as shit music, has lights all over it, and has literally been charged once in the past year and a half.
That's crazy.
Jake's mom shot.
Tell me that's not a good product. That's a good product.
I think it's a good product. I just don't think that the need is there.
I don't know.
Sound good?
Well, I'll call up the company, say, how's the sales on this?
Let me tell you guys.
Sound good?
Hold on.
It sounds great. Yeah, it's 2 feet tall. It's a big-ass speaker.
Nice.
Let me tell you this story real quick about a product. So I got approached by a company who wanted to become a sponsor.
Pyramid scheme.
No. Well, I mean, it could have been. They wanted to become a sponsor for the podcast, and so I was talking to them. I would literally have to buy their products, leave a review on their company's website before they would send me any more free products.
What was the product? Or you don't want to say?
I mean, I can say it was like a knockoff Manscaped thing. It was like a ball trimmer thing. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to have. But why would you make an ambassador pay for your product? Give it to them for free, and then I will make a non-biased judgment on your product.
They just want you to buy the product.
I know. That's
Maybe
right.
they're going to find a bunch of people and say, hey,
Right.
we want to sponsor you, buy this product and review it.
Right.
And just never contact them again after that.
That's what I told him. I was like, why would I just sign up? I was like, give it if you want to give it to me for free, then we can talk. But anyways, any
All
more?
right. That's it. We're going to go ahead and move on. Since last week we talked about the Mars landing with the rover. We're a sports podcast. I want to bring sports into the Mars. So we plan one day to have a civilization on Mars. I don't know if that's 100, 200, 500,000, 2,000 years in the future. But we'll probably have a civilization on Mars if we get that far. And where there's civilization, there is sports. What sports do you think it would be fun to play on Mars, which is at 60% of the gravitation of Earth? And the first thought I would think is I'm cramming dunks on the basketball court, bro.
Yeah, it'd have to be 25-foot rims.
I'm absolutely doing reverse windmills on that shit.
What I want to say How far are the fences in baseball?
Baseball? How far could you hit a baseball? Did you get absolute moon
That's what I'm saying. No.
To the moon.
Mars shots. They'd be fucking Mars shots.
Mars probably has moons.
Yeah, I guess you're
I
right.
think they have a couple moons actually.
Yeah.
Could you hit it actually?
You hit moons shots.
Moon shots.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think they're smaller than
I
our
think.
moon.
I
though.
mean, like you
Maybe.
would have to have Mars athletes and Earth athletes, but they couldn't like.
we couldn't play each other.
The
Like,
NFL.
if you were the best athlete on Earth, you couldn't go play in the Mars League.
I mean, it takes 2 years to get to Mars anyway, so they're gonna waste 2 years in town.
you couldn't go play it. Like, if you picture a baseball, you're automatically trained to like almost make the calculations of how gravity, what the parabola is going to be by the time it gets to home plate to swing. Like, your calculations will be so off.
Well, what happens if like you get hit with a pitch in the face mask?
Imagine trying to
And
shoot a
and
basketball.
and your like face shield shatters, and you just like
What?
yeah, like that's a real scenario.
What are you talking about?
Like you're wearing a spacesuit because it's Mars and you can't breathe.
Oh, no, dude, you're in a bubble, bro.
Oh well, then if you're in a bubble, you can control gravity.
What? You cannot control gravity?
Haven't you ever seen the movie The Martian?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
you can literally turn gravity on and off
Who can?
in a controlled atmosphere.
Who?
You've never heard of this before?
Who?
I don't know whoever makes. Yeah, humans. Yeah,
Humans can control gravity?
I don't know. I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I mean, you can't. All right, it's a stretch, but like G-force and jet planes, you can control gravity that way. You can
gravity's weird, man.
G-force. No, yeah, you can. Yeah, it's like the first law of Newton, the first Newton law.
Gravity's weird.
An object in motion stays in motion. So if you change the direction, your G-force pushes you
control
against the wall
space?
because you're trying to go straight.
Can you control space and time though?
That's for another podcast.
That's another real.
All right,
weird
Jake,
one.
Anyways,
what else
imagine,
you
just
got?
picture yourself shooting a basketball at 60%. Imagine you just absolutely dick launching the basketball like 30 feet over the hoop. You know, like you're not used to it.
And then you have to go get it.
So you would have the basketball and you
sucks.
picture like how much force you need to shoot this basketball in the
It
hoop.
just keeps going.
And then you would absolutely just fucking bomb it, dude.
Like I'm telling you, like everything would have to be bigger. Like fields, everything would have to be bigger.
No, it'd be fun to cram on the 10 foot, dude.
You jump over the hoop.
I would want to play volleyball.
Theoretically, I'm sure Griff knows this. He's probably watched sci-fi movies, but there's a theory that you can have a spaceship that has a ring on it, and the ring spins. And so the
It
G-force
creates gravity.
If
Yeah.
you were in the ring, the G-force would push you to the wall.
Outside, yeah. So you're like always
So
walking on the walls.
if it was always spinning, you'd always be pushed downward to the new ground.
Like the movie The
you'd be
Martian,
standing in-
2001: Space Odyssey, and all of them.
Yeah, that's how a lot of the sci-fi movies make it. I think there's issues with it. That's why they haven't done it.
Sure. Or what's the movie? Passengers. Passengers.
But-
Like that too.
What else you got? I got to pee.
That's all I got.
You remember the scene in Passengers when she's like swimming in the pool and it stops spinning?
All the water.
And all the
goes
water
up.
goes up. She's like she's drowning in the pool because all the water starts floating.
Yeah, it's all
because
sticking
they're
together.
in space, right? So all the water's just one big blob, and she's in the middle of the water, floating in the middle of the spaceship, right? And so she physically can't swim out of it because there's nothing to like she can't like pull herself out. She's like drowning, and then they fixed it, and all the water just like, falls to the ground. Then so
right,
I don't think that's how.
Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully the YouTube gets updated and we can check us out on YouTube. Thanks for listening on wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. You're beautiful. Thank you very much.
Link tree.
Like the shit up.